Clobberin time! It's clobberin' time! Clobberonimo!
No, my buttons aren't doing too well tonight. Welcome, everybody, to Clobberin' Times, Cloudy's Clubhouse.
Clobberonimo!
Indeedishness. Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, my good friends. Greetings, clobberers, clobberonimos, clobberettes, clobberoosties, clobberoids, clobberians, and all the other times of clobbers there are. Clobberians, clobberooskies. I put a hat tip to Fiona on that one. And to the rest out there, everyone, the secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. Welcome to Clobberin' Times number 594 on YouTube, number 1,294 over the last 14 years. And this is Clobby's Clubhouse number 86, bringing you the most wonderful first officer in the fleet, my fantastic, wonderful friend, Commander R.M. Briggs. Our chief engineer won't be able to make it tonight. He's out again on another away mission. Boo hiss. We're going to boo and hiss him. And we'll just talk about it to make fun of him tonight. But I wish him Godspeed in this mission. And we will talk to him later, of course. But first, again, number one, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me, boss. I'm pretty excited. We have a really cool episode of Tales of Tomorrow to talk about. I won't say whether or not it's good or it's bad. We'll wait for that. And we also have a killer episode of UFO coming
Killer
up.
indeed.
Killstriker.
Killstriker. Yeah.
We also have an amazing comic book, but I think we're actually going to postpone that. But
right.
I'm super excited about tonight because look who's in the chat. Some of the coolest people on the internet are in the chat.
Well, we have the coolest chat on YouTube, no doubt about it. We have the best. And so, any opening words you may have for us?
Well, sure. Thanks, boss. Yeah, I have a new book coming out. And I'm writing away whenever I'm inspired, whenever I have an idea. And there are some marvelous people who are helping me because, you know, the corporations aren't interested in my style of stories. My style of stories don't tell you what to think. They allow you to escape on an adventure and to think about things for yourself. And so because of that, some really cool people have stepped forward and said, you know what, we're going to back you. We're going to make sure this book happens. And so I really appreciate them. And Yeah, I'll never be able to thank them enough. I love them all. Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba, and Leslie Pete, who just had their anniversary last Saturday, their 28th anniversary. Eric K, I hope you're feeling better, and his marvelous little pepperoni Kirby. Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C. Mark D with a C.
Mark CD.
Damn it, Mark.
Mark.
Jill, that is Antiderivative Jill. Maximum Redstone, JT Cook, Dadman and the Dadman Clan, and of course, Lord and Lady Thoth, and our very own Lance, who is our Porthos. So thank you to those marvelous folks. I am hard at work, and I will get that fifth story out as soon as I possibly can. I will be doing another 10 stories in this next Volume 2, Science Fiction Tales, Volume 2. And if you're tired of being told what to think and how to feel and what to believe and who to vote for, and you're just tired of all that crap, all of that corporate crap, and you just want to read a story, you might like mine. Try mine.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, Clobby, I love you. I'm so excited about tonight. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. It's just so much better when you're here. You make it life here on Clobber Times without you is like a broken pencil. Pointless.
Oh, Clobby, I love you.
You're the best. So was our fantastic chat. They're not your level bestest, but they're pretty bestest themselves. And I appreciate them. Let's see, show notes, then shout outs, shall we?
Yes.
I want to thank, of course, the great Michael French for hanging out with me last night, my retro blasting pal extraordinaire. Had a wonderful time hanging out with you, my buddy, if you're out there listening. Even if you're not, always a pleasure hanging out with him. You know, he's a very, very busy man, and but he gives of his time to a pal, and his pals appreciate it. So thank you, buddy. That was great, man. Really enjoyed it. And of course, I want to thank the great Tom with Midnight's Edge for having me hanging out there tonight with him a little bit before I came on here. I was on the Midnight's Edge crew reviewing the new movie, The Flash. Yes, I helped them. I sat through that today and reviewed it with him. And let's see here. And tomorrow night, I should be hanging out with the good buddy Nick Weiser and the gang for Friday night comic shop talk. 8:30 standard time with our good buddy Nicholas. And that's
boss, I have to interrupt, even though you're doing the most important part that you like to blow through quickly. I promise I won't derail you, but we have no other way of knowing this, and someone has tipped us off. Judge Dredd has just tipped us off that Larry is up to his old tricks. That fabulous man has purchased a bunch of memberships for folks, and folks are snatching those memberships up as we speak.
Oh.
So I just want to say thank you for telling us, Judge Dredd, because StreamYard doesn't tell us. We don't have access to that information. And I have to say, Larry, how much I love you. You sweet human being. You are such an amazing gentleman, such a great friend to one and all. Thank you for buying memberships for everyone. You're the best, baby. Mwah.
You're too kind. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. So yeah, that'll be tomorrow night. And then Saturday night Star Trek.
Dun, 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 dun.
Myself and my most wondrous first officer reviewing 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 7 in our ongoing mission to review all of Trek, Real Deal Trek 66 through 05735 Club Forever. And then Sunday night I'll be hanging out with my good buddy Mark D with a C, our chief engineer, at his channel, his great channel. It's down.
I love that show poster. That's one of your best, you know.
Thanks. Really?
Yeah, I like it. I
Cool.
like the collage. I find it very arty. It's like something you would see in an art class in university. I like it. It's got this beautiful collage feel to it, and I like the tension, and I like the size of everything against one another in the background. It's a very cool poster. Love it, boss.
Thank you so much. You're too kind. Appreciate too forgiving, but I appreciate you. And yeah, that'll be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Monday, I'll be hanging out with the great J-Man as 3 Mondays out of the month. We review, we are chronicling the Legion of Superheroes, their journey from their very beginnings in 1958 to their endings, at least in my opinion, and my prejudice there. 1989, the entire Silver and Bronze Age runs and all appearances of the Legion of Superheroes. Look forward to that. And let's do some shout outs. Let's shout out our wrenches. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Well, I should do one more shout out really quickly so we get it out of the way. Then Monday night on my regular show, Comics lost one of the great giants, and we lost one of the greats, one of the giants, one of the and at 93, the great John Romita Sr. passed away, and we've talked about it a little bit last night.
Yeah.
And stuff, but of course, Clobbering Times wouldn't be Clobbering Times without doing a proper Monday night Mark C comic talk based on, dedicated to the great Johnny Romita Sr. And so, yes, we will be doing that Monday night.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace, the great John Romita.
Now that will
Sr.
be a very special thing, and I saw his son announced it to all of his fans,
Right.
And that was such a generous and thoughtful thing to do, to include all of us in the grieving process, and yeah,
Right.
it's just incredibly thoughtful, and on behalf of all of Clobbering Times, all of our clobberers, clobberanimals, clobberooskies, 735ers, Clobby, Mark, myself, we just extend our sincerest condolences to the whole Romita family, and terrible.
Almost.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Almost all the greats are gone.
Yeah. Very sad.
Shout out to our great wrenches, of course, Eric K, the bronze wrencher buddy.
Yep. I hope you're feeling better. We love you. And I saw you last night in Clobby's chat. And so I think you're feeling a tiny bit better. I don't want to jump the gun and think you're fully better. But, I was a little scared there for a while. And I'm so happy that you're on the mend. And please send some chin scritchies to our marvelous little Kirby Curbs. We love Kirby.
Chris Berger, the Vindicator Wrench of the North. Oh, thanks for all you do, buddy.
Yeah, a beautiful show poster. Thank you so much for promoting us on your socials. And thank you so much for being here tonight. I know you're busy and you do a lot of wrenching and a lot of promotion and production for other people. And I just want to thank you for everything you do for Clobby and I, for this channel, for our shows. And thank you for being here, honey.
Thank you, buddy, for all you do. Really appreciate you. The great D. Bud Martin. I don't know who's here and who's not, but they get the shout out whether they're here or not if they're the wrenches. And of course, the wrench of iron. Lord Thoth and the lovely Lady Thoth. God of wrenches, goddess of wrench. Avon lives, long live the Legion, my friend. J-Man, my partner in crime on Earth B, and fellow Legionnaire reviewer extraordinaire, and the wrench without fear, buddy.
Yes.
Hungry Boy, master of the club, Boney. Cal L, Super Wrench Supreme.
Real soup.
Maddie's daddy, wielder of Lynch Mjolnir, and Thor in Vegas.
Yay!
And Fanty Outsidey, that
Fanty!
old wrenching rascal. And now let us see who is here with us in the chat. Of course, Ezra Goldstein. Shalom, my friend.
Shalom.
Good to see you. Simply Steve, what's up, buddy?
Good evening, Simply Steve. And look at Steve is already tossing out the dog treats for all the pupperonis. Thank you so much, Steve.
JT Kirk.
JT Kirk.
The aforementioned Larry.
Larry, I love you.
And to call him Scuba Pete. What's up, buddy?
Scuba
and Leslie.
Pete.
Yeah. Hey, Grim.
Good evening, Grim.
My Pop Culture Republic. Dave C.
Pop Culture Republic is here? I haven't seen you in so long. How are you, my old friend? I noticed that you started a YouTube channel and stuff. It's so good. Clobby and I used to love talking to you on the Clubhouse. It's so good to see you. Nice to see you, old friend.
Let's see where. Want to miss anybody? Got JT. Hope I haven't missed anybody. We get Dave C. We got Dave C.
Dave!
Did we not get Dave C? I thought I got him. Now I'm confused. Should have started at the other end. Grim, good to see you, Grim. Claude Selling, Little
Ethan.
Scotty, Joseph
Yay.
Dredd, here comes the judge.
Yay!
Good to see you, buddy. Dave J. Sound, what's up, bub?
Dave G. Sound.
Bush Pan Down, hello, hello, hello. I'm Donnie, Mighty Morphin Donnie Pearson.
He loves it. I bet you he absolutely loves that you came up with that nickname for him. That's great.
His new name. That's the first time I've used it, but that's his will be his name forever now. The
Mighty
Morphin
I bet you
one
he
himself.
loved that. You know how he loves the Power Rangers.
Michael Beacom, hello to you, my friend, and shout out to the lovely Cassandra.
Love
Hope
the
you both
Beacums.
Doing well, my friends. Let's see, up in here. Oh, Jeff Morris, hey.
Good evening, Jeff.
Did I say Little Scotty? I probably already did. My memory is garbage. It's been a rough day, folks. I just sat through a. Never mind. Mazerus.
Maze! Oh my goodness, another old friend. Good to see you here, sweetheart.
Yes, indeed, he-ish.
Hey, and Lynn Barnett's here as well.
Hey, Lynn Barnett. Good, read those because I'm going the opposite direction. I won't be able to see those. So tell me if anybody new pops in.
Yeah.
Bop, 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 bop.
Yes, Pop Culture Republic, I definitely noticed. And, we sure missed you around here at the Clubhouse. You're such a great voice, and you add so much fun to the conversation. So good to see you, and I hope you enjoy the show. It's still the same. We're still doing the same sort of thing on the Clubhouse night. Mark isn't here, but very good to see you, old friend.
Mr. Angel, good to see you, Chef.
Chef!
Now, I believe that is everyone. I think I got Ezra, but just in case, shalom, Ezra. So, okay. So before we get into all of our other reviews, I guess I should just a basic, very quick rundown. I went to see The Flash.
Gross.
That's my review right there. See, I just say that'll be my one-word review, folks. Gross. Why? Thank you, Captain McCoy. So, anyway, it's not. All right, let me tell you something, folks. Here's one thing I will say for the movie The Flash. I'm being really honest here and as fair and balanced as I possibly can be. I'm going to be very fair here, all right? The Flash was definitely filmed and shown on movie screens to audiences. Could not be reached. Hey, what's there, my friend?
Hey, nice to see you.
So it's definitely a movie that has been filmed, and it is, maybe filmed is a kind of, I think it was filmed. Maybe it was they did it some other kind of way, but we'll just use filmed as a general term, right? And it was shown on movie screens because I saw it on a movie screen, and believe it or not, for the first time ever in any movie I've ever been to at a theater, it was closed captioned. Somebody turned on the closed captioning. I've never seen anyone do that at a movie theater before. Maybe you have. And it wasn't anything to do with the movie. It was the theater that did that.
There's some talk about that in communications and technology. There's some scholarly work underway with regard to that due to streaming, folks have started using closed captioning for the hearing impaired. And many folks are using closed captioning now. It's a trend. And different people are identifying the different reasons why they do it. Some folks were blaming production. Other folks were blaming the nature of viewing, and just some people are blaming the attention spans. It's really all over the map. So that's very, very interesting, bizarre, and off-putting. It could have been just
my theater. It might have been just my theater that did that. It's last movie ever. I was about to say the last movie I went to. Every last movie since I've been born I've lived to never had it. So this one, obviously we know the technology and how they can do that sort of thing. But anyway, the movie itself, folks, I won't go too spoilery. It's a mess of a messy movie with a lot of crap in it. I go in with some biases because, Ezra Miller sucks. But even if he were a nice guy, he's totally wrong for the part of Barry Allen. The movie has a couple of okay scenes early on, and it just degenerates. I mean, it's one of the stupidest. It's truly one of the stupidest movies I've seen in a long time. And the more you think, it's one of those. Some movies don't pass the think test. You'll watch them, and you'll go, you walk out going, man, that was innocent enough. And then you start making the mistake of thinking about it. I also I go in with a prejudice where I hate that retcon BS about Barry Allen's origin and his mother being killed by, well, in this case, I won't spoil anything. In this case, you don't even, I'm not going to say anything. But in the comics, he never had that origin about his mother being killed by, and never in the comics, everyone knows it was a Reverse Flash. But in this movie, they don't really say. I'll put it to you like that. That's not really that spoilery, but it's just, I hate all of that stuff. I hate why couldn't he be the one hero without a damn tragic parents killed origin crap? I'm so sick of that stuff. It's fine for a lot of characters, but why did Barry Allen have to have that change? And that was nothing. That wasn't the movie's fault. That was the idiot Jeff Johns in the comics years ago. Chris Purchase says, but I have a question for Globby. Do you think it was filmed on film or digitally recorded? See, that's why I'm thinking it may have been digitally recorded. So I'm using the term filmed loosely. Hey, Brian Hepburn, and hello there, Dadman Walking, Dadman and Dadman Clan. Good to see you. So when I say filmed, I mean it loosely. You know what I mean? It was filmed or recorded, whatever. I thought of that, but I just decided to say film just to make it easy.
How did that? Can I ask a question as like a non-geek, just a nerd?
Sure.
Why is this film starring somebody who went like on a crime spree and was like the leader of an sex cult in Iceland and all the, like, he went on like a crime spree, like in the regular newspaper, not in like geekdom, because I'm not a geek. I don't follow geek news, but in the regular newspaper, this person was arrested for like assaulting someone in Hawaii, I believe it was, or he allegedly, he allegedly kidnapped someone, all allegedly, I will say allegedly. But it appears as though folks are reporting that this person went on a major crime spree and it is alleged that he was running this sex cult in, and I'm just doing that for the algorithm, folks, in Iceland. So how has this person not been canceled? I'm just wondering.
I can tell you why.
Tell me.
Well, it's very difficult to do this with, as you mentioned, the algorithm. So I'll be as vague as I can.
Okay.
Yes, certain to do with a certain alphabet community that has that shielding protection. That wouldn't be afforded to other people without that shielding, if you take my meaning. And secondly, he was cast in this, and a lot of it was done before a lot of that crap happened.
Okay.
And this thing's been sitting around for a while. Now, they've had buku reshoots on it. There have been so many reshoots that the budget's astronomical. And another thing to your point is they felt stuck with the movie. So that's when they went and got Michael Keaton and said, hey, we can use 80s nostalgia and, throw some chunks of money at Michael Keaton because people liked him in his Batman movie. Not everybody, but a lot of people did. And let's bring him back as old Batman.
What?
And it's a Batman movie, but it's not. It is mostly about Flash, but you knew he was in it, right? You didn't know he was in it?
No, I didn't know.
Michael Keaton is in it. They brought him back not too long after a lot of that controversial crap started happening to Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
They decided to bring him in, and they shot a lot of stuff. And they pretty much made it. I mean, it's not like it's all about him, but if you look at all the press on the movie and all of the the media attention it gets, it's all because of Michael Keaton. Because nobody, and I mean, no, hey, DJ Ronnie G, what's up?
DJ Ronnie G.
Nobody gives two craps about Ezra Miller. People are going to see this movie to see Michael Keaton come back as Batman.
Come back as Batman. Okay, so this is super. This is. Like whoever thought of adding Michael Keaton actually did something quite clever now, didn't they? Because, many folks feel as though the live action Batman will never be achieved aside of Adam West. And certainly when you're thinking of a billionaire American industrialist, you're not thinking of any of the other meatheads that have played Batman, but you certainly can believe Michael Keaton. Now, I know that Michael Keaton plays the billionaire genius industrialist who has all these inventions and can make all these inventions. They buy it. But I don't think they buy his physicality, his physique as Batman. But still,
No,
you
he
know, a
doesn't
lot
look
of
like.
people rank
I
Adam
don't.
West as the #1 live action
That's my
Batman.
favorite.
And then the #2, a lot of people really like Michael Keaton because Michael Keaton
Yeah,
sewed up the role as, is it believable that this
he's very
guy,
popular. Yeah.
yeah, is it believable that he's a billionaire industrialist capable of creating and inventing and then making all of these insane inventions? And so, yeah, adding Michael Keaton, like I personally, I don't think that Michael Keaton has the physical presence of Batman, but certainly, like
No,
I
he
said,
doesn't.
he definitely has the is this guy
The
intellectual and
acting
powerful and
chops.
clever enough, right?
Right. His performance was good. He just doesn't physically do it for me as
Yeah.
Batman. I mean, I like those movies. Okay, that was a big, crazy time here. I mean, pop culture was so different back then, and that was a huge thing from the pop culture. And a lot of people who were kids back then are very nostalgic about Michael Keaton. That was very. It was
Mhm.
a. It was a desperate attempt of desperation that I don't think is going to really work.
Okay.
However, it's going to get them. It's going to make it more successful than it would have been. They couldn't have even made this thing without him. They couldn't have
It's
got it
true.
finished at all.
Well,
So,
Michael Keaton's such a
but
great actor, and like I said, he was so believable for about 3/4 of what that character requires. But that last little bit, like, you know, my opinion about the cowl, about the mantle, about Batman has changed significantly since I watched the very, very first serial. Now, whenever say that, I don't know what I'm talking about, so people assume that I mean that second serial, and I really mean that first one, the very,
yeah,
very, very first
Lewis
one with,
Wilson. Yeah.
yeah, the guy with the little bit of the
Right.
hooked nose, and almost nobody knows about that cereal. When I mention it, they,
Yeah.
even big fans, don't know what I'm talking about. I really liked that guy too, Clobby.
Right. Well, yeah, he was Lewis Wilson, and
He
later
was big, you know what I
Robert
mean?
Lowry. Right. Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Chris. What you're referring to. He said he wanted me to elucidate Raquel on reasoning why Keaton's Batman had retired in that universe. Well, that's
Ooh.
something that I was told that didn't pan out. I saw the movie, unless that line was cut. He just said it was a very safe. Gotham was very safe. I don't. If anyone else has seen the movie and saw something different, it was not mentioned, and it was a political agenda type thing. So I'm not going to talk about it here as to why the city was safe. But someone told me that it is said in the movie that in Michael Keaton had quit being Batman because the city's all safe now because of certain things that were taken away by the government from people. Certain things that you defend yourself with if you got him any.
Oh.
I was told that was a line in the movie. I had not
Oh.
seen the movie. That was 2 weeks ago. A
Oh,
certain friend
wow.
told me that. And so I
Okay.
was going in expecting that. I listened for that line. Now, I could have missed it, Chris, but I didn't hear it. I heard him say, he said the city's really safe right now. It's not really. Now, that doesn't mean anything. I'll ask somebody who's seen it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The movie is a absolute train wreck mess, full of some of the dumbest writing. CGI is the worst. I don't like beating up on the CGI people because they do a thankless job and they're underpaid. And it's not their fault. It's the fact that they had so many freaking reshoots and
Hmm.
stuff, and they were rushed. So it's not those poor people who work their butts off and make no money on the effects. It's never them. It's the idiots behind the scenes. It's the bean counters. It's the directors. This movie is written as an incoherent, drivelly mess. As much as I can't stand Ezra Miller, if he were a nice guy, I don't want him in this role. He's no Barry Allen, but he's a good enough actor, but he's not Barry Allen. The character is not. And Blunt Philly, hey, Blunt Philly Reviews, good to see you.
Did you just see what I know that you're on a specific train of thought. So I'm actually going to star Blunt Philly Reviews, sir. When you finish your train of thought, when you finish your thought,
Okay.
I would like it if we could please put a Blunt Philly Reviews thingamabobby on the marquee.
Okay, yeah. No,
Sorry, boss.
I'm not going to go long on the movie because we got other things to review. I'm
Yeah.
just letting everyone know.
Well, no, I like it. I like it when you do this because it's important, because you educate nerds, you educate normies, as to what's happening with geeks and with geekdom and what they think about this. And I had no idea that the great Irishman Michael Keaton was in this garbage, and that's really sad to me, because I think that it's wrong to have a criminal in.
And he took the money.
Yeah, and he took the money.
He took the money. Look, Keaton's fine in it. I'm hearing. See, I'm not nostalgic about Michael Keaton being in the movie. I was more like curious. Like, oh, I'll watch it. I don't hate his movies. They're fine. He's not Batman to me. Adam West is the epitome of the '60s campy Batman from comics, and he's of course started by geekdom. Kevin Conroy is the absolute greatest voice of Batman ever. But other than that, Batman's a comic book character to me. So I don't know one actor, even a good one, who's done a good job in a role, is really nostalgic. But a lot of people.
The first time you said that to me, like as a nerd, I felt so weird about you saying that. I just thought, oh my gosh, and this is like 3 years ago when I first met you. I just thought, this guy, he has such antiquated ideas. And every single argument you made about Batman, I went and I looked and I watched what you said. And you were right about every single thing you said about Batman. You know that you actually not only changed what I thought about Batman, but you educated me on Batman and you changed my opinions on Batman. I totally agree with you now. And I'm actually at that same place where I wonder if we'll ever have a live action Batman. And that's because of you. All the things you taught me and everything you said, your rhetoric was so good. And everything you said was true, especially after I went back and watched those serials.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Did I ever talk about Batman around here?
You did when I first met you, and I thought, oh my God, this guy has such a specific opinion on Batman. And then I started sniffing around at all of the evidence that you were providing, and I thought, is this guy really this edgy? And then the further I investigated your opinions, the more I figured out that not only did you know exactly what you were talking about, but what you were saying was perfectly reasonable and made sense and actually helped the fidelity of the character. So it actually helps to maintain the fidelity of the story world and the character itself. So anyway, thank you for that. I love your opinions on Batman. So however you want to talk about Batman, I can assure you that many people want to hear your opinions on Batman. You have excellent opinions on Batman.
Well, thanks. I've just got to pick up another track. I don't know where I was going, so I'm trying to figure out what I was. Where was I? I was talking about the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, you were talking about the kid and about how Flash, the Ezra Miller kid, isn't the Flash guy.
He's not Barry Allen. I mean, anyway. No, he's not. I mean, yeah, he's. Let me get back to on track. Basically, we don't have to go any farther into the movie. I don't really have a.
I think that's the last thing you said, and then I was trying to encourage you to say more.
I got nothing now. I've lost. That's all gone. I mean, it goes away that quick when if it stops, it leaves me. So I don't know where I was going, but it's the movie. Let's see. God, I wanted to. What was it? Oh, so frustrating when you're this old. I'm sorry, everybody. I had something for you, but the movie. I guess basically, the movie is a mess. Well, I'll maybe try to pick it up later if I can think about I was going to tell you some more stuff. We'll just go into our reviews because I kind of lost it. I was going. I can't help it. It's gone, and I had if it doesn't take long. So, thank you, Bush Down. I appreciate that. But something to do with Batman? I don't know. Adam West was in it. Yeah. I basically, I'm not going to do any spoilering tonight. The story is really stupid. It's nonsensical drivel. It started off, again, some horrible effects. I think basically one of the things I was saying was that it was not the CGI people's fault. They keep going back to the well and reshooting this thing, right? So, and that caused everything to just look, terrible, horrible. and it was a mess. Ezra Miller sucks. Actually, you have to have him do two of him in the movie. No, and Tom got me thinking along some lines tonight. If he was right about something that happens in the story, I'm lessening my 3 out of 10 rating for the movie down to a 0.
Why?
I can't say it'd be spoilery.
Crap.
Not that anyone tells about spoilering, but it's yeah.
Simply Steve says it's too late for no spoilers, Clobby.
I mean,
Blunt Philly Reviews says spoilers? I don't care about spoilers. Say whatever you want.
Does the movie really feel like the start of a new DCU or just one off? It feels like the end of a DCU of the stupid. There's got a lot of stupid Snydery shit in there. For one thing, I think I was talking about Keaton a little bit. Like I said, I don't really have much nostalgia for Keaton as Batman. He's fine in the movie, but I'm going to tell you this: a lot of people are going to be going to see Michael Keaton because, believe me, it's no secret he's in there. He's all over. I mean, you'd think it's a Batman movie. He's all over the press. He's all over the posters and the trailers and all that stuff, which was, of course, the point to get people in. So a lot of people are going to go so they can see Keaton, right? And I think a lot of people who are going to see him I've heard this from a few people who really only went to see it for him, are kind of saying like, yeah, he didn't do anything. It was okay, but it didn't feel that great. They didn't care. In other words, people, if you're going to see Michael Keaton, maybe just wait and catch it on TV or something later, because a lot of people are disappointed by that. And they have all kind of really stupid shite where they have him regurgitating lines from the movies as silly fan service. One works, a couple
like
don't.
Like the Terminator.
Yes. And well, there are a couple catchphrases from the original film that fans of the original film like. But yeah, it's not. Yeah. Donnie Pearson says Superman is my number one DC Comics favorite character, followed by Batman. Same here, man. We have the same order. Yeah, that's right. Larry says, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
But which was cool, but he regurgitates a couple other lines. I'm like, really, you guys, we all saw the movie. Why are you putting that line in there? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And it's just, this movie was written by idiots who, I guess they read some comics, but they didn't read Fleshpoint. I hate Fleshpoint. And this thing even, it's an equal opportunity offender. If you hate Fleshpoint, it still sucks. And if you love Fleshpoint, it sucks even more. It's like, you can't win. And I freaking hate Fleshpoint. Yes, I know it's called Flashpoint. I call it Fleshpoint. So it's a sort of quasi-adaptation of that, but not really. There's a scene in it. Okay, I'll just tell you this without spoilering it for you folks. Guess how basically Barry Allen, Flash, figures out how to time travel, but because he just runs faster than light for a few seconds. And then he can time travel. And he decides to go back in time to save his mother because he's been trying to get his father out of jail because his father's in jail for killing his mother, even though he didn't do it. And he knows his father didn't do it. But that's why he became a police scientist in the first place, which, of course, is retcon horseshit in the comics. So he tries to go get, to go back in time to save her, and he does, creating a paradox and creating another Barry Allen without powers, who's a bit younger than him, but he's played by, he plays both of them. You all know that. That's the basic plot, right? Everyone knows that.
The chat, I hate to interrupt you. The chat just wants you to spoil it. They just want you to spill the beans. Everyone.
Well, all right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler alert.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm not going to spend much time on it. We're going to go review other stuff in a second. But all right. So you've been warned about spoilers. There you go. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Does Ezra Miller's really throw a baby into a microwave in this movie? Yes. Yes.
What?
He does. That opening scene could have... Hey, Jay Picasso. Spoiler alert, everybody. Does the opening scene where a bunch of bad guys have put some kind of gigantic explosive under a big hospital and shit or whatever, and it's blowing up a bunch of chunks of the city? Hey, Crease 1984. And okay, well, you've got the spoiler alert there, Donnie, if you don't want to hear this, but we'll be done in a minute. and Batman chases the bad guys, and he calls Flash to go deal with, and the building's blowing up, and we focus on a maternity ward way at the top, where a bunch of babies and a nurse, the floor collapses, everyone's getting out, but they have all fall out of the building from the top of the building. So Flash has to run up there and save them all. And he can run up, run on anything. By the way, I cannot stand that stupid special effect with the lightning everywhere he runs. It makes me, never mind. That's geek stuff. So, of course, he can run so fast. It's slow motion. I mean, everyone's in slow motion to him, right? No biggie. So he's collecting up all the babies in a dumbass way, putting them on this slab thing. But one of them, he cleans out a microwave and puts them, because he has to throw it farther or whatever. So he puts the baby in the microwave and throws it. And these babies are creepy looking because the CGI sucks so bad. And he saves them all and the nurse. But yes, and the dog. By the way, there's a doggy that's falling also. He saves the doggy, which was nice. And he saved everybody. And you're watching that scene and it looks so freaking bad.
Blunt Philly Reviews says, let me ask you this. If Flash is so fast, why is he in slow motion too?
Because the movie is. This movie is the slowest fast movie you'll ever see. It's slow. Hey, Keely Chow.
Hey, Keely Chow.
Spoiler alert, Keely Chow. We're talking about the
Keely
Flush.
Chow, welcome to the show. Clubby wanted to leave this topic about 15 minutes ago, but I just kept pressing him to keep talking about it. I'm an awful person. He's given a spoiler alert. He's talking about the new Flash movie. Welcome.
And thank you, Chris Persia, for the $5 super chat. It says, you cannot spoil something that is already spoiled on the vine. That's for sure. So let's see. So yeah, you get the opening bit, and then you got Ben Affleck Batman, and they show like a shot. Superman can't be there. They show a back shot of him. So in other words, for anyone going to see Henry Cavill cameo, you're out of luck. He's not in it.
Oh.
You get to see Batfleck for a minute, and have a big chase scene, and then you get to see Wonder Woman. The whole some of the Justice League there. That's actually one of the things that tickled me about the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie shits all over the stupid Snyder butt. Because the beginning of the movie, it disregards the Snyder butt and embraces Justice League. So Snyder butts are not going to be happy, which almost put me on good terms with the movie. Like right away, I'm like, that's funny. Hey, 10 years ago this week, I had to sit through Man of Steel, okay? I'm still bitter.
Yes.
And it's worse than this, but Man of Steel is still worse than this crap. But anyway, so Barry, I forget why, after this opening incident, he figures out for some gobbledygook. Now, look, let me tell you something. This has been a good, what time is it now? It's been a good, maybe, I want to say 6 hours or so since I started watching this thing. It's going to vaporize itself from my mind because it's so forgettable and dumb.
Oh, no.
Well, no, that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, but you've talked about this before, how like this happens to me as well. When a movie's not good, it doesn't stick with me.
This won't stick with me other than being stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go far other than let's see. Michael Beacom had something. Sorry, Michael. He said, when you see the Flash in slow motion, he is really at super speed. Know what happens when an object at super speed touches a baby? You don't want to see that. Yeah, no. It's, well, I hearken back to, look, two of those really lame-ass, stupid X-Men movies had two each, especially one of them had Quicksilver scenes. Quicksilver's basically a rip of the Flash and Flash powers that were really well done, where he's running through this building. The Professor X's mansion blows up in one of those movies, and he's like walking alongside of it, and he sees that the bomb blows, and it's going to kill everybody in the movie. There are a whole bunch of kids in this building, and the whole sequence is him running in and out at super speed, getting everybody out of the building, and it was brilliantly done. But but in this movie, this is ham-fisted bullshit. It's crap. So anyway, Flash, he's been having dreams about his mommy and being killed when he was a kid, right?
Oh no.
So I think he talks to Batman about trying to go back in time. It was Apocalypse. Thank you, Steve. Lame movie, but that scene was really good. that scene is worth just watching. I mean, it's really unbelievably well done, but they don't know how to do that here.
Can I ask a very quick question? I don't want
Sure.
to derail your thought, but
No.
I want to ask a quick question. What year did The Flash come out in the comics source material?
I mean, well, originally it was 1940 was the Golden Age Flash, but 1954-5 was the Silver Age Flash, Barry Allen.
Okay.
So yeah. But what did he say? What Kreese said? Snyder cultists were lit in support of this movie on Twitter for a while. What do you know? Yeah, well, they're not going to like it now. When they see
Thank
it,
you
they're
so
not going to
much
like
for
it.
joining us, Kreese.
Yeah. I don't see how they could, because it opens up acknowledging Justice League, not the Snyder butt. So anyway, let's see. We don't have to go too far. Just let's see what are some tidbits. Anyway, he starts running through time, he runs real fast, and that just brings him to this like this crossroads of dimensions and stuff. And he goes and decides to save his mother by it turns out his mother went to the store one day and she forgot a can of tomatoes, and she talked her husband, his dad, into going. He was a kid; he's like 8 years old, to go to the store and get that for him. So while he leaves, he's upstairs and he runs down. His mom screams and goes down, and somebody has stabbed his mom to death.
What?
And he gets back. Somebody has stabbed Barry's mother to death. And when Barry gets down the stairs, it's Barry's father's holding her, and he got accused of the murder and convicted of the murder, even though Barry always believed he was innocent. Because, yeah, that's retcon crap into Barry's origin. That's in this movie.
Oh, so that's the retcon. What's the original story?
Original story, they never even mentioned his mother in the original story. He's a police scientist, Barry Allen, who gets lightning strikes a bunch of chemicals, and they had a very silly comic book origin. In one night on a stormy night, and he's doused with the chemicals after the lightning hits him, and he becomes the Flash. Like a lot of the original Flash just drank
cool
the serum.
Science fantasy.
Yeah, see, the original Flash just drank this like serum or something.
Yeah.
And actually inhaled these vapor things, whatever it was. But anyway, Julius Schwartz came along in the mid-50s, who had been a science fiction writer, and he'd been the science fiction author agent to Ray Bradbury and Alfred Bester and a couple others. He took over as editor at DC Comics, and he decided he wanted to make a new Flash with more of a science fiction type of and Green Lantern. He brought in the new Flash, new Green Lantern. He wanted them to have more science fiction type of origins.
Yeah, less fantasy, more sci-fi.
That was his background. Yeah, it was still fantasy, but yes, he wanted to be a little bit more grounded like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's how. So before there was never any mention of Barry's mother. Then some idiots, back in the early 2000s, or whatever it was, Jeff Johns did a comic that retconned his origin to have the Reverse Flash, one of the Flash's enemies, Eobard Thawne, goes back in time and kills Barry's mother, framing his father for it. Well, this in current day of Barry in this movie. His father's going for another appeal to try to get out of jail, and he's finding all these. He became a police scientist to find a way to prove his father not guilty. And there's this camera that has a picture of his father at that store buying the tomatoes at the same time of the murder, but it can't see his face, so he never gets out. They keep trying.
Oh, that sounds really dumb.
It's dumb, and he goes. He decides he goes, and he's back in time, and he sneaks the tomato thing in into his mother's basket. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that changes and creates another Barry in the paradox, of course.
Oh, weird.
Then he starts seeing that he's screwed with the timeline, and that ain't good. Because all of a sudden, from Man of Steel, General Zod, the villain from Man of Steel, shows up on Earth looking for Kal-El, for Superman. Kal-El. And he's saying, well, he's looking for Superman. And they found there's no mention of Superman. In this world, there's no Superman.
What?
To fight him, to stop him. There's no Superman in this world. And he later decides, I need help. I got to find, Clark Kent or Kal-El to fight him. And I got to go find my buddy, the world's greatest detective, Batman. So he goes to Batman, and Wayne Manor's all dilapidated, and there's old Michael Keaton.
Oh wow.
And he helps eventually. You know, it's the same old. He doesn't want to help him. The two Barry Allens go. Before that, though, um, he tries to give his younger Barry self as a bum and an idiot. He tries to recreate the action on the very night of he got his powers to give him superpowers. Anyway, it works, but it takes our Barry's, the number one Barry's powers away. It was dumb.
But
Anyway,
this doesn't make sense to me because if he never leaves to go get the tomatoes and he's standing in the kitchen when the killer shows up, why wouldn't he just stop the killer? Why do we wind up with two of him?
no, he went to his mom's basket in the store and put the tomatoes in there.
Oh, put the tomatoes. Yeah.
So she never sent the husband out. And somehow the killer didn't come in there and kill her because the husband was there. I get him.
Oh, okay.
Again, none of this is addressed.
Yeah, because some people are in the chat are feeling like I am. Who thought of this? And this is really duh.
I'm telling you, folks, if you want an answer, you're not getting it from this movie.
No.
Hey, Dad Man, what's up?
Hey, Dad Man Clan. I think he's going into lurk mode.
It's okay. So you suppose superheroes without tragic personal loss for an origin feel left out? Good question, Michael. Thank you for that super chat. I'm sick of that crap, though. But anyway, so basically from there, they go to try to find Superman and realize when they find out that some being is being, Batman, and then find out some being is being kept in some secret bunker in Russia, which was from the Flashpoint comic. They think it's Superman, so they go to find out it's a female instead. They find out it's Kara Zor-El, folks, who looks nothing like she does in the comics. It turns out it's Superman's cousin. And she's going to be the super person because we can't have Superman in the movie.
This retcon stuff is so weird, and it's so Swiss cheesy as far as plots go that, like, if you just hear it orally and you don't watch it on screen, it sounds nuts. Like you can't even follow along with it. Like it sounds so nuts.
It's giving me a headache. I'll just stop and just hey, Oliver Belamonte.
Good evening, Oliver. So this is once again another example of why comic book fans hate it when their original source material is thrown in the bin and they get this retconned crap.
I'm sick of multiverses. Everyone is, especially in movies. He says, "Hey, Oliver says, Clobby Flash has the power of speed, but the giving him the power of time travel makes him more powerful than Superman or Batman. Barry is the fastest man alive, but not the world's best time machine." Well, at least in the comics, he had the cosmic treadmill, and that at least made some silly sense that it was an apparatus for time travel. Where as opposed to in this, he just runs fast and he could go back in time.
Weird.
Now, in the comic in the Silver and the Bronze Age, Superman could fly through time. It's true, but he's Superman.
Yeah, but Flash, but also when Superman tried to change time, he would make the Earth go backwards, right?
Well, that was just a visual effect. That was for visual effect. In other words,
but I like what you're saying about how there should be some type of visual representation or some type of mechanism or apparatus in order to achieve that.
Right. Superman can just do it because he's powerful enough, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But the Flash, but again, even they show Superman, and they at least show you like a visual effect of the Earth going backwards, which is really just him going backwards. But in this, he just runs sideways for a while, and there he is, moving through time, and he goes and because he's caused all this damage. Causality, he's in this big like nexus between all these dimensions, and we're seeing all these alternate. Oh boy, there's a scene. I am spoiling this, folks, because I'm going to laugh at you.
Yeah, but they asked. They asked, so then I forced you. So just do it, boss.
We get a glimpse at a lot of other alternate worlds, right? Mm-hmm. One is the George Reeves Superman from the Adventures of Superman from the 1950s TV show, but it's in black and white, and I'm like, wait a minute. Only the first 2 seasons of the show were in black and white. It was in color after that. What is this, Planet Black and White? I mean, it doesn't make sense. We get to see Adam West for a second. We get to see Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater as Superman and Supergirl for a second, which is cool to see and all, but who cares? They didn't do anything. And then we get the dumbest thing I've... and everyone's heard about this.
What?
Did you know that Nicolas Cage is Superman in this movie?
What?
Back in the late 90s, Tim Burton, who made the Batman movies, was trying to make a Superman film with Nicolas Cage playing Superman. They had the costume set up. They did test screenings. That's
insane. That's
it's a
as
dumb
bad
idea.
as that guy who used to play the greatest American hero.
Right, this is worse. And the idiot who funded the film, called John Peters, he had these different scripts. Kevin Smith and all these other people who saw this script that he wrote for the movie, and all of them have Superman fighting a big giant spider. The movie never got made, but there's a documentary, by the way, that's pretty fascinating about the non-making of how the movie almost got made. It was documentary, came out about 10 years ago. Anyway, in this movie, we see a shot. The most action of all these, it's him. It's Nicolas Cage in that costume, that weird costume with his long hair, fighting a big giant spider.
Oh no, long hair.
The other guys, we only see them for a second, but we got to watch Nicolas Cage. Now, what I just told you, every geek in my chat probably knows about it. About Nicolas Cage almost playing Superman.
That's nuts.
Most people are going to go to this movie and go, "Why was Nicolas Cage Superman? What is that? That was never any movie, was it?" They're not going to know what it is.
No, they're going to think that it's some sort of ploy to do some type of spin-off or comedy or something. I mean, that sounds like a comedy to me. That sounds like the sprinkling the dust of we're going to do a comedy. Well,
yeah, and then the movie ends with another big stupid fight against Zod. Michael Keaton, Batman, gets killed. Supergirl gets killed or whatever, and I forgot whatever mess. She helps them. He ends up going back and getting, basically, where they never tell you who killed his mother, but he goes back, decides to set things right. He puts the can back, and he goes and meets his mother, even though she doesn't know who he is, and she's all nice to him and gets a hug from her, even though she doesn't know she's like a total stranger, but he has a sad little meeting with her, knowing she's going to go die, blah, blah, blah. And later, he fixes it so his father can be, I think he puts the cans on the top shelf where his father has to look up for him, so he gets on the camera. And Wayne, they blame it on Wayne Tech. So his father gets to spend all that time for jail for nothing, but at least he finally gets out in this movie.
Oh, brother.
Leaving the courthouse, Barry Allen runs into Bruce Wayne. He thinks he's going to see his old buddy Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck, but it's really George Clooney Batman.
That was the worst Batman. The George Clooney.
I think I'm making this up, but it's true.
Oh, yeah. That guy was so bad as Batman. I think I only watched like maybe 5 or 10 minutes of it, and I had to shut it off.
The Death of Superman Lives is what happens. A documentary from 2015. Scott Knudsen, hey there.
Hello.
Welcome, sir.
And Juxtapose is here.
Hey, Juxtapose. Hello there. Good to see you. He said there was even talk of the Cage Superman crossing over with the Schumacher Batman. That could have been the DC Cinematic Universe. Actually, might have been an improvement. Yeah, could be. And so, hey, Joseph Dredd, what's up, buddy? Here comes the judge.
Yeah, I hated Clooney too.
His movie was so horrible, but
it was absolutely terrible. I don't think I made it through more than 10 minutes of that crap.
And if you do watch it, don't bother with the stupid post-credit scene. All it is because he realizes he screwed up again. He screwed up time. So the last scene is him and Aquaman, Jason Momoa, who's falling down,
brother.
Getting drunk. He's drunk in the street, falling down in the street drunk when he's trying to explain to Aquaman what happened. And Aquaman doesn't give a crap because he's drunk. End of stupid movie. This movie is moronic. And Tom seems to think that he was the one that went back and killed his mother. All along, it was a paradox of he being the one who killed his mother. And I'm like,
that's
it's never
horrible.
Said. Tom thinks that, and we know Tom, and I never, like Nick and I never occurred to us because we know from the comics, we just assumed it was Eobard Thawne, and they just don't show him. But if Tom's right, that makes me hate the movie even more.
That's absolutely awful.
Because he said, I got to go back and kill our mother.
Isn't this guy supposed to be a superhero?
Yep. It's a paradox. It makes no
He's not
sense.
like a villain, like he's not like the Punisher or like the guy who's on the motorcycle who's all flames. What's his name again?
Well, Ghost Rider, yeah.
Ghost Rider. Like he doesn't have like this guy. This movie, the Flash
No, he
guy,
wouldn't
is
kill it.
supposed to
No, he's
actually
a
be.
superhero.
Yeah.
Well, the Dark Flash is a third Barry. Could not be reached. He's actually a Barry who's constantly going over and over again many times trying to save his mother and failing that he becomes the darker, monstrous Flash.
That
And he won't
sounds
stop.
insane. I'm with Larry.
This
Larry.
movie sucks.
Timey-wimey.
This
Too
movie's
much
garbage.
timey-wimey.
So I hope I didn't ruin it for anybody. That's not true. I hope I saved you some money at least.
Well, I think that may make people watch it on streaming instead, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Philly Reviews. You started this one. Says,
Yeah.
how we doing, Clubhouse? Just published The Machine movie review. Glad to be done editing and sitting back and hanging with you fine clobbers. Well, it's great to have you here. Everyone, please. I don't have, if anyone could get a link to our good friend Blunt Philly Reviews channel, I'd be happy to have anyone put it in the link in my chat. And
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I started.
Oh, okay. Well, if anyone can find it, please go subscribe to our good friend Blunt Philly Reviews channel.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. You were spoiled for your Flash movie. Still not going to watch it, Steve, yeah?
Yeah, Michael Beacom, I don't mind that Clubby did it, and I think that's why so many people were begging him in the chat to just spill the beans. It's okay, just spoil it, because look at us. Like, I grew up in the 70s, a teenager, and then an adult in the 80s. It's like, okay, so back then when you would go to the movies, people would tell you whether or not it was good to see a movie, and movies were quite expensive, and so a lot of people waited for it to come out on VHS. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think there's too much in our society that we have to watch everything, and I think that this is a byproduct of the streaming culture, and I think it's okay to say no. I think it's okay to tell the corporations, no, I'm not going to watch this one. I'm going to watch it on, the equivalent to VHS, which is at home. I think it's okay to do that.
Thank you, Stephen Callell. You're too kind, buddy. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to help. Like I say, if some people didn't want it spoiled, I would have been happy not to. But if you wanted, at least I remembered more than I thought I could remember, because it's so, when you think about all that crap in it, the bad stuff's one thing. Sitting through it, this movie's not memorable. Like for the first 20 or so minutes, I was like, okay. I was willing to give it a chance and see what it was going to do. But halfway in, I'm like, oh, good Lord. And then by the time, when you're getting to see Michael Keaton, that novelty wears off relatively quickly. Then it just deteriorates into really stupid, dumbass, horrible CGI action crap. Zod is in the thing. He sucks. He sucked 10 years ago. He sucked now. It's just lame-ass crap. It's garbaggio. And, it got worse as it went along, and for a fast movie of 2.5 freaking hours, you feel every second of it. At least I did. And I was just kind of numb, though, at a certain point also. I was just like, yeah, let's hope this one gets over with soon. But why don't we get on to review some stuff here, because this wasn't supposed to be a review.
I know, and I'm sorry that I dragged you into it. That must have been really frustrating for you. But
no.
I like hearing what you have to say, and everyone in the chat, like the chat was just lighting up to hear what you thought. And a lot of people think of you like as their buddy, like the kind of guy who they would go to the movies with. And so they want to know what you think about this, and if they should waste their time and their money, or they should go do something else and just wait for it to come out on streaming or whatever. And so, I think it's really flattering for you. Sorry that I dragged you into it and you were like wondering where to go with it and wondering how bad to spoil it. And I shouldn't have put you on the spot like that.
No, you didn't at all. Love you. No, if the crowd, anything the crowd wants, I'm game.
Yeah.
If you all want me to talk about this stuff, but I always I give you the option up front. But no, and number one, you're doing the wonderful job of the executive officer, helping your captain, guide your captain, and or maybe I'll say it like this: I trust you'll nursemaid me through these difficulties, mister.
I don't
Either
want to be
one.
the Decker unit. I'm kidding.
Oh, I decker you. I still believe that Keaton's Batman and Bruce Wayne would have been better served in a live-action Batman Beyond movie. Yeah, I hear you. Where he's mentoring a young Terry McGinnis, that would be a lot better. I'm with you there. Michael Beacom says,
Okay.
get her to bed. We'll be lurking. Be seeing you. Thank you so much,
Be
Michael.
seeing you. And tell Cassandra that I said hello. Oh, Larry, I love you too, honey. Yeah.
Age difference. Well, thank you, JT.
That's what I mean, JT Kirk. Like, that's how I feel about him too. I've felt that way about him for years now. Like, he's my older brother. I just love him so much.
Love you back. I love you. So,
so that's cool. So at least everybody has a general idea of what's going on, where the hype is, why everybody's complaining about this CGI.
Right.
You've given lots of perspective.
View it at your peril.
Yes. And I dragged you into it. I'm sorry.
No. You did great.
May I please know the guy's name that I like again? It's the very, very first guy. He's not actually very attractive. He's sort of like the Bruce Wayne Batman that's sort of like Paladin. He's not like super handsome.
You mean the actor?
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
The first guy was Lewis Wilson. The second one was Robert Lowry, I think. So.
Yeah, the first guy, the Wilson guy,
I think
is the guy.
Lewis Wilson was in the first Batman serial. Yes,
I loved that. I told you about that. I found that late at night, and it was actually so good. I felt like I was watching the old Adam West version of Batman, and I watched the whole thing like halfway through in one evening. I enjoyed it that much.
Nice.
I love that Wilson Batman.
Yes.
And he was a big guy. Like, that wasn't a guy who was pumping steroids. That wasn't a guy who needed like body armor or anything like that. You believed that he could knock the crap out of you. And just, that if that guy punched you, he'd punch you so hard your grandma would feel it. That guy was that's a cool Batman. I like that guy. I like Wilson, and I like Adam West. And I think that Keaton can play Bruce Wayne, but I'm not sure he can play Batman. And all the rest of them are meatheads. And I totally agree with you that, and now that I've been educated on it, that the best way, I think the ultimate way to see Batman is either through the comics or through animation, because he really is the ultimate superhero, isn't he? Because he has brawn, and he has brains, and he has money, and he's a genius inventor, and there are all these things going on with the character. And that's really hard to embody in today's Hollywood. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Henry Cavill can't play everyone.
No, he can't. He didn't even, and it's amazing that he didn't even get at least if it was in, they cut him out, which it could have been James Gunn that cut him out, but it's crazy that they would cut him out of there. Yeah. So, well, how about some reviewing?
Okay, boss. Yes, Larry, 15 chapters. But you know what's really weird is everyone says it's the 1943 one, Larry, but in Canada, where I watched it on my Fire TV, I think it said 1940 before that. Like, it was before that, either 41 or 42. And it's the Wilson guy, not the Lewis guy. I like the Wilson guy. And
Lewis Wilson,
he's Larry. He's not Hollywood handsome, but he's a big, tough, kind, polished man. And you believe that he's classy enough to be Bruce Wayne, but you also believe that if he punched you, like, you'd see stars and birdies. Like, that guy, I like the Wilson guy.
Blunt Philly said, what do we think that Batman, how many out of 10? If you're asking for a rating,
yes.
I think you might be. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But anyway, my rating, I initially gave it about a 3 because I was being kind. If Tom is correct, and he might be, because both Nick and I were flabbergasted when he if Tom is correct, I'm giving it a flat 0 because it's disgusting. But we don't know, because the movie could have just had a scene cut out of it. But I have a bad suspicion that he's right. If that's the place, that's right out of Snyder, so they can burn.
It is Tom.
Blunt gives it a 1 out of 10. Wow.
Yeah.
So Tom's probably right, and if he is, I'm on a 0. They don't deserve anything for that.
Yeah, it is.
Waste
Tom.
my time is one thing.
Tom is
Tom knows his stuff.
He's very chronic. in film. And I also think that he sort of understands the motivation of these new Hollywood hack types. Like he understands corporate Hollywood, and that really does sound like a direction they would go. I mean, this is the same Hollywood that brought us Cruella de Vil as a hero.
Yeah, they don't understand heroes anymore. Hey,
No.
Fiona.
Hey, Fiona.
Fiona, what's up? She wants Cavill to play everything. I get you. I hear. Well, you're not alone in that, Fiona. Not me, but you're not. You have some company there that like him a lot. I like Henry Cavill. It's too bad I never got to play Superman. He probably would have been okay in it. Good actor. Yeah.
I feel sorry for that Cavill fellow because I've been reading
like crap,
in regular newspapers, not in geek papers, but in the regular papers about the way that he's being treated, about what's happening with The Witcher, not wanting to use presentism and to retcon it and to sort of, I don't know, completely redo the story.
Right.
Like he really enjoyed apparently the video games, and that led him to read the books, and he really liked the books. And so I think that it's just awful what's happened to him. He was literally like, can we please show some fidelity to the original story, to the original source material? And they dragged his reputation from through the mud, and then he left. Really sad.
Damn shame, because he's one of us. He loves the geek stuff, and he just says stop attacking fans, just make things with fidelity to the material.
Isn't that weird?
Henry Cavill, All-Star Superman. What a dumb movie by DC. Do not Henry Cavill. What a dumb movie by DC. Do not do that. All-Star Superman? That was a great comic, and I liked the animated movie. You're not talking about the animated movie, are you, Fiona? I loved it, even though they left some stuff out of the story.
Christopher Reeve is my Superman. Yeah, Larry. It's very weird. The version that I watched here in Canada, it's almost like it has the wrong date on it or something.
What?
But it is the Wilson guy. But very odd. I don't know if they gave the film dates, like when they were shown in the theater or when they were produced. I'm not sure, but I remember when Clobby and I were first talking about it. Clobby was like, "Well, those dates don't match up." And then I went back and I checked, and the dates are wrong, at least on the one that you watch in Canada.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Fiona. She has put the words to by accident. So Henry Cavill as All-Star Superman, yes, I'm down with that. I love it. What a dumb move by DC to not to do that. Yes, All-Star Superman is one of the greatest comics, and by Grant Morrison, of course. And the animated film is really good. The only thing wrong with it is it left some things out. I see what you're saying now, Fiona. I just, I should have done Ask Superman. I know you mean All-Star Superman as a one shot to allow him to leave Superman on a high note. Preaching to the choir. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. A Warrior of Justice is here, so I'd like to say hello to a Warrior of Justice, and somebody was mentioning Crease was mentioning the Netflix Witcher. Crease, I actually really, really loved The Witcher. I don't play video games because I'm a nerd, not a geek, and I loved the first season of The Witcher. My husband and I watched it religiously. We were so excited about it. We actually walked around the house like singing the little tune, Toss a Coin to Your Witcher, O Valley of Plenty. And we were having such a wonderful time with it. And then the second season came out, and it was like it was a completely different show.
Yeah, I heard
and
that.
Suddenly it wasn't just about the girls, because I don't have an issue with that, but it was that The Witcher is supposed to be about The Witcher, so that was already sort of off-putting. But what made it worse for me, Crease, and when my husband and I stopped watching it in the second season, is because all of the stories became about little girls, and it was almost as if they were trying to market it to like the Shadow and Bone crowd, or like the CW crowd, like the sort of, well, I can't even say I can't even say the Vampire Diaries, because the Vampire Diaries attracted lots of different people, a wide demographic. But you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
super young, angsty girls who, you know, wear too much eyeliner, and they, you know, they sort of think they're goth. That is what happened. It was like you're watching this super fun, a really cool show, and then it turned into that, and it's like it fell off a cliff. It's like you were having a great time, and then the show literally fell off a cliff. Like, well, not literally, you know what I mean.
No,
It's instantly sucked, and so we abandoned ship. We didn't finish watching it at all, Chris.
to hell with it. To hell with it.
Oh yes, Warrior of Justice, J.T. Kirk. That is exactly what I was reaching for. God, I love our friends.
Twilight Sands, yeah.
Yeah, the Twilight sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Well, speaking of Twilights, how about are we ready to review Tales of Tomorrow?
Oh yeah. Yay. Let's do it. Oh, Chris says, Raquel, I would have liked Witcher season 1 more if I didn't remember the original stories from the time they were originally published. They got rid of his philosopher side from the beginning. That's something I actually learned from Henry Cavill through his interviews and through the criticisms of him, that he wanted a more cerebral character. And it was, I guess they shot him down in flames. They said, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to be faithful to the material. They wanted to have their agenda. That's the way it worked. They clashed with him. Good dude. It's a shame. And now he's working on that Warhammer 4K, which he's a huge fan of. My son loves that, by the way, and he wants to be faithful. So that'll be interesting for fans of that. They may be in good hands.
Well, I'll definitely watch that. Oh, Cardi's here.
Hey, what's on?
Yeah, Chris, I got that distinct impression
Cardi.
that it was totally being done on purpose, Chris. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep, and it was exactly like the chat. I was sort of groping around for the right example, but they were appealing to the Twilight fans. This wasn't just a shift toward more of a feminine storytelling to try and attract women as a demographic for the show. It was far more than that. This was for very young women, angsty young women, sort of like super young goth chicks, sort of prepubescent. And that's definitely something that you learn when you go to university and you study communications and technology, that a lot of the demographics and the psychographics for these shows, you think that they're going for the 16-year-olds, the 17-year-old girls. But if you actually start uncovering who they're actually appealing to, it's girls much younger than that, because girls much younger and boys much younger aspire to be older than they are. So what ends up happening is you see 8 and 9-year-old girls watching the show instead of the 16-year-old girls who they're appealing to. And corporations know that they're doing this, and it's because there's so much merchandise attached to these shows that it's not just, oh, you're going to watch The Witcher. It's all the stuff you're going to buy that's attached to The Witcher. So that's a part of it. It's really sad. So let's get to it, guys. Let's do Tales of Tomorrow.
Go for it.
This week we are. I should put this up here. Hey, boss.
Yay.
Okay, so this week for your Tales of Tomorrow, highlighting a short story and a corporation put in its place there to support art, not to create art. We have Youth on Tap. This is season 2, episode 6, as far as the USA IMDb goes. And this was first broadcast, obviously, mostly in theaters, on September 26, 1952, due to the price of televisions and so on and so forth. The writers of this are Lona Keeney and Man Rubin. And of course, Man Rubin is, I believe, that guy from DC Comics, who is a prolific DC Comics author, and everyone loves them
for their science fiction stuff of the 50s.
Yeah. So, IMDb is a cesspool of crap. I believe it's owned by Amazon, and it's user-generated material, and it's not to be trusted. It's not. It's not good. Neither is Memory Alpha. None of this, none of these sites where it's user-generated is any good. So I usually write the summary just for the show. So there's no one to give copyright here to. This is just me. And let me tell you a little bit about Youth on Tap. Our story starts at a small town truck stop. Jeff, played by Alan Alda's father, has a
Rob
lot
Ald-
on. Pardon?
No, go ahead. Robert Aldrich. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And then I made a stupid pun joke. I made a dumb pun that will just make Scuba Pete laugh and no one else. Our story starts at a small town truck stop. Jeff, played by Alan Alda's father, has a lot on his plate. Someone has stolen his truck. He's a truck driver, like as in an 18-wheeler driver. His girlfriend, Kitty, who happens to be the waitress at the truck stop, is anxious to get married. Jeff is facing a deadline to buy a local gas station for $1,000.
Wow. Gas
Earlier in
stations
the
were cheap. Sorry, go
Yeah, right?
ahead.
Earlier in the day, Jeff was at the Red Cross donating blood for money. While there, Jeff's blood, A-type negative, catches the attention of a mysterious Dr. Platten, who has no affiliation with the Red Cross. He's just there observing, and we soon find out why. The doctor follows Jeff to the truck stop and offers him $1,000 for a pint of his blood. The doctor takes Jeff to an apartment. The doctor reveals that he's being followed. So he says, I'm being followed. Let's leave out the back door. And he takes Jeff to this apartment that he's renting. The doctor reveals that he needs Jeff's blood to treat a rare condition. And he sort of describes the fact that when he draws blood from Jeff, that the machine will cause a slight bit of tingling when he's drawing blood. The machine that draws Jeff's blood actually causes him excruciating pain. He passes out, and for a time, you actually think that he's dead. But Jeff wakes up sometime later to find his aged doctor is quite young. His wrinkles are gone, the bags are gone, the black circles under his eyes are gone. He's looking young and fresh as a daisy. Jeff is stiff, numb, and in pain, so he's having difficulty moving his extremities. Suddenly, an old man bursts into the apartment, and he claims to be 29 years old, but he looks about 60 plus. The old man produces a gun and demands to have his youth restored. The doctor and the first victim decide to drain Kitty's blood. That's Jeff's girlfriend. And so, the doctor, Dr. Platten, convinces his first victim, look, if you want me to restore you, you have to go and get this Kitty lady from the gas station, from the truck stop, and bring her back here. So the next scene, Kitty shows up with the first victim, and Jeff falls unconscious. Of course, Kitty offers a blood transfusion. She truly loves Jeff. Kitty gives Jeff blood, but she doesn't age, and Dr. Platten can't figure out why. And then Dr. Platten says, both of you are fine. There's nothing wrong with you. I don't know why this is, but Kitty is not diminished in age at all. And so the Kitty and Jeff attempt to leave the apartment. The first victim flips out and orders the doctor to give him a transfusion. And so I'm not going to reveal the end of it because, of course, I want you to watch these stories. I want you to watch these stories because these stories were written as short stories. They were developed into teleplays, and they are restorative. These are good for your soul. What they are is a storyteller, an author, a single author is telling you a story, and you get to enjoy that story. There's no corporate BS attached to it. There's no hyperdidacticism or corporate hegemony attached to it. And so I want you to enjoy these stories. So I'm not going to tell you what happens in the end. I will say this. This isn't one of the best tales of tomorrow. I found it, like last time when we talked about Man Rubin. It seems like Man Rubin is really good at writing stories for comic books, and he's really good at writing short stories. But when they get turned into teleplays, he needs more time. And Tales of Tomorrow, I believe it's around 22 minutes or fewer,
Yeah.
and it's just not enough for the Man Rubin stories. It's very obvious what we're exploring here, and the resolution to the episode, it makes that very clear. We're discussing this idea of whether or not to live forever, but it's not quite as um, it's not quite as like gothic horror as a vampire. It's really
Yeah.
asking you, if we had the scientific means to do it, would you do it? Would you want to live forever? And so I think Man Rubin's story here is really good. I just don't think that Keeney, I believe that's the person who developed the short story into a teleplay. I just don't think that an adequate job was done, or that just the story was just too good to be covered in 22 minutes. So really great story, really great message. I really liked it a lot, but it is super, super rushed. This story should be a 10 out of 10, but I can't give it a 10 out of 10. I can only give it a 7 out of 10 because of how rushed it is.
Yes. I mean, my feelings exactly on this one. It is a very interesting story. There's actually some good dialogue exchanges toward the end there, without going into the ending. But I have to say the same thing. This suffers greatly from time constraints, so I couldn't give it any more than like a 6.5, because sometimes you bite off a little bit more than you can chew with the kind of format you're given. So it's not their fault. But yes, it is. But I mean, again, it's well written, though. I mean, it's definitely interesting ideas to the story. But as a whole, like a lot of these stories, you guys mentioned a lot. It's not quite up to snuff, and a lot of that's to do with, well, the format.
Yeah. Yeah, because this whole idea, like I try and explain to people why I love gothic horror so much, and how I
Mm-hmm.
believe that gothic horror is at its best when it turns to science, like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, where it's very clear that this is science fiction. This is one of those places. That's where Man Rubin is taking us. He's saying, okay, well, being a vampire, that's too on the nose. That's mystical, magical, a fantasy. Now, I want you to entertain the idea that, what if this were possible? What if we actually could do this? And so we don't have enough time to flesh out why, or how, and that's sort of good, because it's obviously not possible, but this is 1952. But I think it's an interesting thing to put forward. Just like, you can't cobble a whole bunch of bodies together and electrocute it. But Mary Shelley didn't know that. And at the time, they were just starting to bring electricity into homes. Doctors were still trying to perfect their craft by taking cadavers, paying people to dig people up from their grave, and do certain things to them to see if they could, reanimate a heart, or if they could make, certain organs work with the touch of electricity. And this really frightened Mary Shelley, because she was around all of these people who are super affluent, highly educated people, and so she was grappling. She was trying to deal with this idea of science, and how wrong science could go when you put doctors and electricity together. And so that's super cool. And that's exactly what Man Rubin is doing here. He's saying, okay, here's this whole idea. You have this whole idea about this vampire thing. Set aside all the fantasy. What if we could do it? Would you do it? And at what cost? And would we
Yeah.
lose ourselves in that process, and lose our humanity, and victimize one another, if we could ever get to that? And so super, super interesting. I wouldn't just, push this aside and say it's crap. I really like this Man Rubin fellow. I really like his storytelling and I really like his ideas, but 22 minutes is not enough for him,
No.
or fewer. I think there's a break, boss. So I think it might actually be like 19
Yeah,
minutes that
there's a
they
couple
get
of
this
long
one done.
commercials.
Yeah, because this
Yeah.
one is has the
Well, there's
Chrysler one.
one. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
That's right.
it has the Chrysler in between, plus the Tales of
Then the
Tomorrow.
ones before and
It-
after also. So yeah, it's I
yeah,
don't know how many minutes the actual story is, but
yeah.
yeah.
So so it's a shame because I like this man, Ruben Fellow. I think he's quite talented, and I certainly love this idea of taking this gothic horror idea and turning it purely toward science fiction. Super fun for me, and this is the kind of stuff that I truly, truly love.
Fanty Outsider mentions a show called The Immortal. Well, that's with Christopher George. I remember it very well. Phantom was in the early 70s. Called years later a show called The Immortal with Christopher George, where the immortal gives the rich guy a blood transfusion. This blood cures, euthans the old rich guy who then wants to hunt him down. Well, he actually imprisons him. The Immortal was a show. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, number one. It only lasted like 30 something episodes. It was the early 70s. Christopher George, he's a test driver, for for race cars and stuff. And he gives blood one day at the hospital, and his blood actually gets given to this rich old billionaire tycoon who's dying, and it rejuvenates him. And then the doctors find out that his blood is rare. He's a lot younger than he looks, and all this stuff. And at least for back then, they passed the actor off that way. And we find out his blood could, like, if that old man finds out his blood could keep him living forever. So he offers him all kind of money, but he's got to live. He's got to make sure he never hurts himself. He's got to live underground in this man's house, and he doesn't want. He says, "No, I don't want to. I want to live my own life." And so he captures him, and eventually the guy escapes. So the show is about him being on the run, running from this guy. This old man hires these these mercenaries to chase him, to capture him. It was called The Immortal. That was a pretty cool show.
Wow. Yeah. I really like that sort of thing. Cardinal Sin, I do have to mention this correction because it's extremely important that I mention this correction. Cardinal Sin says Mary Shelley's father was a scientist interested in galvanism, which she learned about. And in her book Frankenstein, it's not electricity that was used to reanimate the body, but cosmic rays. That is patently false. I'm sorry to say, I did study Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, in university with a wonderful professor of comparative literature. And I could actually turn you to the precise page where they discuss the reanimation of the daemon. And no mechanism is actually mentioned, though electricity is strongly alluded to. And I urge you to pick up your copy of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus, and reread it, because there's not cosmic rays.
Cosmic rays gave the Fantastic Four their powers. So that's true. They did.
Really?
I'm making it up. Yeah,
that's very cool.
They want to put yeah, but anyway. So we've any more on Tales of Tomorrow, or is that?
That's it. I only did one episode this week,
Right.
Because I once again attempted.
We're running out of them, so
yeah, I'm running out of them, but it's okay because I have more in store. I have more fun times with short stories.
Sure. Cool.
Cardinal Sin, please, sweetheart, I love you so much, but please, I know you have the book right there. I don't want to stop the show right now and then like turn into Professor Raquel, where I have to actually show you the page and get you to read it out loud. Like I said, I actually studied it in university. I got an A+ in the class, so I'm pretty sure that I've got it all in hand here. We actually wrote an essay on it. Let's not be silly. Anyway, that's distracting. The only reason why I'm saying that is because it's very important not to mislead people or to give them false information. If you have an opinion and you want to speculate on something, that's fine, but that's certainly not what actually transpires in the book, nor is that the scholarly reading of the book. And like I said, I'm not going to pump the brakes on the show and go to the direct page, but I will certainly put it on my Twitter with a photograph of the exact page on my Twitter when we complete this program.
Oakley dokley. Thank you, Cardi. Thank you, Larry, for that as well.
Larry.
So are we ready for our next review?
Sure.
Are we ready for some UFO?
Yeah.
UFO. Well, we'll have nothing fancy this week because not number one. Our engineer's not here, but we'll just have a little picture we'll have to do, right? Jerry Anderson's UFO review, folks. Tonight's episode is Kill Striker.
It is Kill Striker, and because our wonderful chief engineer isn't here with his sexy UFO book that I covet, I'm covetous. I will read the story from Wikipedia if you want me to, boss.
Whatever you want to do is fine.
Okay, well, let's start with it. Delete Striker, JT Kirk.
Delete Striker.
Yeah, so this week we're doing Kill Striker. This is season 1, episode 7 for USA. This is episode 24 for ITV, and it's prod code 16. And this aired on November 4th, 1970. And I'm going to read from Wikipedia a summary. Colonel Paul Straker and Captain Frank Craig are piloting a lunar module when it is approached by a UFO. Both are then subjected to mind-altering impulses that cause them to want to kill Commander Edward Straker. Straker makes a split decision that saves the men from crashing. Returning to Moonbase, well, that's sort of reversed, isn't it? Because that's not really what happened. Those two things are reversed, and then it's correct.
Right.
Straker makes a split-second decision to save the men's lives, and then once they're put into that particular trajectory, that's when the UFOs come and subject them to the light. So this has it reversed. Returning to Moonbase Alpha, Foster starts to criticize Stricker's performance, and then Craig makes an unsuccessful attempt to kill Stricker in his sleep. Craig also tries to destroy Moonbase's supply of air and water, but is killed in the attempt. To further discredit Stricker's abilities, Foster sends a critical report on him to General Henderson, leading to a confrontation between Straker and Foster. Foster pulls a gun. A bullet punctures Moonbase sphere, and the two pass out from a lack of oxygen. Now on Earth, Foster is placed under hypnosis by Dr. Jackson. I love Dr. Jackson.
Your favorite, Dr. Jackson.
Yes, I love him. Which reveals that the aliens mentally implanted the impulse to kill Stricker. Although Foster's career with Shadow appears over, Stricker is not willing to give up on him and decides to test if Foster can combat the urge. He puts himself and Foster in a sealed room and tries to convince Foster that he's going to kill him. Foster demonstrates that he can overcome the urge to kill Stricker. Soon after, he is returned to active duty. Duty! So that's not a very good summary, but at least it's a decent launching off point. What did you think of Kill Stricker, boss?
Oh, excellent. I mean, the thing that will be find me an episode that isn't excellent of this show. And I don't think you can really, but it was definitely very well done. The usual amounts of tense subtlety, a great suspense in this episode. We learn again for the second week in a row. We learn a little bit more about. In other words, the aliens are doing a little bit more than just flying around and getting blown up. They actually have the ability to. First of all, they know who Straker is, right? Mm-hmm. And they can, they know he's the boss, and so they can brainwash a couple of guys apparently and program them, again. So that the plot thickens as far as what the aliens are and what the mystery grows. But we also get some pretty interesting, because I know Paul Foster's just your favorite character. We get some pretty interesting insights into Foster and Straker's relationship there. Yeah, I think this is a very good episode.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I like how we explore the different relationships with everyone, and certainly there are plenty of wonderful practical effects. We get lots of marvelous encounters with the technology and with the ships, and just all of the juicy characters and the tension going on between them. And the end, I always get mad at you and Mark when you guys jump to the end, but the end is what makes this episode what it is.
Yes,
because the twist at the end.
I was reluctant, but we are going to spoil it, right?
Well, yes. Yeah, we can
spoil spoilers on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we can.
I forgot to. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so I really like that, right? But I like that Straker makes it clear that, when they look at this neurological evidence after these brain scans and all of this hypnosis and everything that's gone on, that Straker makes it clear that the change of command thing had nothing to do with the brainwashing, and that came from Paul Foster, and so he gets a great deal of ribbing there afterward. So it's a good episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, it's great. And again, it just really shows that we keep seeing what a great character Straker is. I mean, the episode may not do a lot of favors for Paul Foster, but it's another feather in the cap for the character of Straker. He's compassionate. He's very tolerant. He doesn't, a lesser man might have just, given up on Foster, just said, well, he's a scumbag, screw him. But that's not what he did. He knew something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very patient about it, even when Alec didn't want to be. And he just had the gut feeling that something was wrong with him. And and when it turned out when he found out he's a danger to him, he could have just we don't fire anyone from Shadow. But what was he going to do? Was he just going to kill him? I mean, he could have, I guess, but I don't think so.
That was supposed to be his fate initially, right?
I mean, he put it to you like this: he had every right. In other words, they're above the law.
Yep.
No law would do anything to them. But Straker's not that kind of a man.
He's not.
He took a big chance, and he gave him every chance. And that scene, like you said, it's all pretty good until that last scene. You get in that last scene in the room when he's in there trying to give Foster a chance to test him out when he could have easily just dumped him. Yeah. I thought that was terrific. That's one of the best scenes in UFO that they've ever seen. That was really brutal.
Yep.
Really well done.
Yeah, I thought so too. I love how I from some of my notes I just put. I love how loyal Alec is with Paul.
Thank you, Fiona. He's protective of Straker. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says, well, that'll be about enough of you. And then I love how loyal Alec is with Henderson. And it's so cerebral. This isn't like a sycophant. This isn't this isn't somebody who's just brown nosing. No. And it's also not he isn't a simpleton guilty of hero worship either. This is very cerebral. And it's contained in the one sentence where he looks at Henderson and says, "I'm concerned about the way you contacted me."
Yeah. He's very loyal to Straker.
Yeah, and Henderson had no business contacting Alec the way that he did, going through the chain of command in that way, and making it appear as though Straker was now in trouble with Henderson and perhaps shouldn't be trusted, by going and telling Ford that under no circumstances was he to even tell Straker that he had been contacted. And that, and then Ford says, well, actually Straker was named specifically. And so I love how we learn that just these showrunners. They're such great writers, and they're just such wonderful storytellers. This isn't hero worship. This
No.
isn't some, weak-brained guy who's looking up to his hero here. He goes after Henderson for what he did because of what it implied and how it damaged Straker's reputation and even the chain of command. So I just love that point. Paul Foster's report feels unimportant to me compared to Craig trying to blow up the moon base. That's the one weakness I find here. I think, when you think about Yeoman Rand, think he's gone space happy or something.
Yeah.
That's the feel here, right?
That was from the Man Trap, right?
Yeah. And so you're worried about it. You're worried about it, but then you think, okay, well then this has to be a Yeoman Rand situation where they just thought Craig went space happy, right? So you have to release it, otherwise you sort of see it as a small weakness to the story. Paul threatens to push for change, for a change of command, and also that he'll keep no confidence. I thought that this was another point at which the show was incredibly cerebral, because what this is this is a dialogue that openly declares that Straker cannot trust him. So he doesn't just say, I'm looking for a change in command. He also tells him, don't trust me with any confidence. I'm not here to keep your confidence. I won't. In fact, I won't. Don't count on it. It's like, what? So he basically says, he overtly says, I'm not your friend. And even though you're my superior, I won't keep any of your secrets. I'm here for your job. And you shouldn't trust me or tell me anything. I thought that was an incredible moment in the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else? I love that Foster shoots to kill Straker twice. And despite that, Straker can still see that something is wrong. This isn't the Paul Foster he knows. And despite that, he still goes into that room with him. And I just absolutely love the whole idea of calling Dr. Jackson Dr. Jackson. I mean, it's done on purpose. It's so absurd and glorious and beautiful and very spy film. It's very James Bond. But Jackson says Foster is finished clinically, but Straker won't give up on him. Foster expects to be killed. Straker makes it clear that the aliens planted the idea to kill Straker, but the aliens did not plant the idea to change command or to deny those confidences or that friendship. And so Straker comes right out and says that. And I think that's amazing that they separate that. In any other Hollywood show, TV show, it would have been like, oh, he just did that because he was brainwashed. No. Not here. Not in this intelligent, glorious, beautiful show. In this intelligent, glorious, beautiful show, he still is held accountable for things that have nothing to do with his brainwashing. And I love that Straker kicks Paul's ass and pushes Paul to the brink. I love watching Straker hand Paul his ass. It's just so good. He kicks the shit out of him, and I just love it because I don't like Paul. And we learn that Straker is an incredible marksman. And when I say an incredible marksman, we live in an age of hyperbole. No hyperbole. He is truly an exceptionally gifted marksman. And I love that that's revealed here. And then we also learn about his leadership and his internal dialogue about forgiveness. I love that Straker forgives. I mean, Foster is walking out the door and he's joking with him about the fact that he knows that he's still after his command. So they still go to the presentation with Henderson. And he says, I'll be willing to entertain all of your criticisms about how you want to change in command, how you want my job. But it's still loving and kind, almost like an older brother or father figure to Paul Foster, which Paul Foster clearly doesn't deserve. You know what I mean?
Like old Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't his fault. He was taken. But I hear you. He was brainwashed. Fancy says something interesting here. He says in the current time, this would be a multi-part episode because the characters wouldn't communicate directly as intelligent characters would. Very
Yes.
true. Very
It's
good
quite
point.
daring, isn't it, Fanti? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I like the most wonderful thing about this is how realistic it is. Here we're watching an amazing science fiction show that is a very cerebral science fiction show, but it also is fully in the genre of the spy film as well. So not even a spy TV or a spy TV show, but spy film, like the greats, like, James Bond. And yet they're having this conversation about friendship and whether or not they can trust one another, and whether or not his brainwashing had anything to do with him wanting Stricker's job. It's so great. Like, it just makes you respect the show so much. It's just hard to believe that this used to be what people watched on TV, and look at what we watch now. Like, when this is done, I'm going to watch this show through for like the fourth or fifth time. But I'm going to tell you something. TOS and UFO are going to be on my constant rotation for the rest of my life. I'm going to continually watch these two things for the rest of my life. I cannot believe television used to be this good.
Amazing. Well, great stuff. What would be your rating of this episode, Kill Striker?
I gave this one an A++, because of the fact that it has such adult, intricate, believable, cerebral dialogue that leaves you with these complex relationships where you realize that even if Paul Foster doesn't want to kill Straker, he still wants Straker's job. He wants to put some distance between Straker and him. He doesn't want to be friends with Straker. He's going to question Straker's decisions. And Straker turns around and says, it's okay if you question my decisions. And we find out that Alec is the greatest guy ever in the universe. And I'm sure everyone in the audience is plenty sick and tired of hearing how much I love Alec Freeman, but I just do. Not only is he an amazingly well-written character, but I am disgusted that anyone said that man was not attractive enough to be on this show. That man is so charming and is such a wonderful character. I would go out on a date with him in a heartbeat. I just think he's lovely and charming and loyal and absolutely bloody brilliant. He's just so intelligent and just so kind and compassionate. He reminds me of Dr. McCoy. I have a huge crush on Alec Freeman, and anyone who says he is non-attractive should be rovered. So A++ for me, boss.
Okie dokie. I give it an A+. It's this show's quality level is always the highest, and this is a great episode. And I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad, man. I'm just glad we got onto this show, and I'm on my second viewing. You're on your 15th already. So
I can't, it's like you don't need drugs if you have this kind of thing. Like this kind of thing is so good that it's like my books. And you know how I feel about books over celluloid. You know that I'm not a big watcher of TV and stuff like that. But this is different. UFO is different. TOS is different. This is almost like somebody wrote an amazing novel and then put it on the stage. And I mean like actual stage. You go to a theater and you get to enjoy real storytelling. And so for me, it is so good. Like TOS and UFO, that's basically all you need. Just blow up your TV after that. You don't really need the TV after that, do you? I know I don't. And Gil says, I was wrong. Raquel was right. Raquel won. Gil zero. Gil, I love you. And please don't ever think that it's a point of like you win and I lose, or I win and you lose. I don't want you to think that way. I love you so much. I just think that you are a marvelous, loyal, kind, generous, thoughtful friend. I adore you. And I definitely don't think in those terms. It's just, I'm very specific with literature, especially literature that I've studied in university. When there are details in books, I'm quite specific about them. But I meant no offense to you. I just wanted to make sure that that we told the true story of the book. I know there's a huge like cultural thing behind Frankenstein in the celluloid, in comic books, in television and film and all of these things. But for me, it's something completely different.
Now for something completely different. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Especially like when you study it with and you know the professor who I'm talking about, Clubby, because I talk about him behind closed doors when you and I are just alone and hanging out, and you know what I think of that man. He's a preeminent intellectual in Canada, and he's just marvelous. And I studied it with him, and he's just a giant brain. He just walks in the room and yeah, just it's all brain, a giant brain. And I feel so proud and honored that I got to study that book among many books that I got to study with him. But that book in particular, I feel so proud that I got to study that book with him. And that guy's a genius. And yeah, wonderful, wonderful man, amazing academic and scholar, and just an amazing, amazing person.
Nice. Niceness. Well, no. Oh, there we go. I was checking something to see but our chief engineer is still on that mission. He's going to be a while, so I think he's going to be here. But with everyone, I tell you what, it's great to see you all here tonight. What a great crowd we have. Man, this anyone has well, and we won't have to be too much longer, everyone, by the way. We don't want to keep you or anything, but we're still here for you. So I'll tell you what. Did anyone give any ratings on this, by the way? Anyone else have a rating that we didn't see? Remember, did anyone have a rating of that episode? If you do,
yeah.
If not, no biggie. But if you do, fine. I mean,
did anybody join us in watching UFO? Do you have any feelings on the show in general?
I almost forgot to ask that. Yeah.
Or on this episode, we would be delighted to put them up on the marquee.
Yeah. So if anybody, yeah. In the meantime, look, you know, we could play a little Q&A with some friends, or if they got any. You can't do a zillion topics. What's that?
I have a question. I was wondering if you could all of you, if you could school me. I'm on a Macintosh, and I'm on a Mac, and I need to watch comics. Like I need to view the comics digitally. And I've been trying to find an app to view the comics. And today when I was viewing the Star Trek comics, when I would Splat Plus, the dialogue boxes, the little thought bubbles and conversation bubbles, they actually went blurry when you tried to magnify them.
Oh, wow.
Does anyone, like maybe Fanti or Larry or Chris or someone out there, does anybody have an app that I can watch these digital comics on? I love you, Chris.
Yes, Chris, you get an extension. We'll give you one. Fiona says, yes, but anyone pondered that question of Raquel, and she'll watch for it in the chat.
Yes, please. I really, really want to watch these comics or read these comics that Clobby's sending me. Freudian slip. I feel so weird about reading things in digital.
That's what I do. I love it. So
I'm a physical reader, but anyway, I really need to read these digitally. And so if anyone could make a recommendation, I would be so grateful.
If you see anything you want to star, go ahead.
Okay.
A+ from Fiona says, a real nail biter finale. Made you think that someone could actually die? Yes, absolutely, ishness. That episode shows Straker doesn't need a gaggle of yes men. If you have a valid point, make it. After all, their mission is to protect the then 4 billion lives on Earth. Yeah.
What a beautiful review.
Indeed.
And I've starred one from Could Not Be Reached for further comment.
Yes, it's a fantastic show. Woe for what could have been. Yes. It's so tragic that there are only 26 episodes, but I happen to know some great shows. Didn't even get that many. So yeah, I hear you.
Chris is
I
asking
hear
me a
you.
question. Let me just go and look, Chris. I've got the file tag here. They're .cbr.
You what now?
I'm just giving Chris the file tag.
Okay. I mean, Mark, he sent them to you already, but you got what you need something.
Yeah, I
A
need a
program to
reader
watch
for
the
them.
computer.
Yeah.
He's got a reader, but I guess it didn't work. May not work for the one he's talking about. He said it must not work for.
Yeah, I managed to read the first 3 pages, but then the dialogue started getting intense in this one. This is the one about Pike. And as I was hitting Splat Plus, which is, of course, Command Plus, it should be able to magnify it. But when I was magnifying it, it
Right.
would go blurry and I couldn't read it.
We'll move our Star Trek comics review next week, folks, so we can get that taken care of. It'll keep. We're going to review Star Trek: The Early Voyages #1 from 98, 99, or whatever. So it's a Marvel Star Trek comic that lasted, I think, 16 or 17 issues, and it took place on Captain Pike's Enterprise. The real deal, not this piece of trash called Strangled Nude Worms, which, by the way, The Flash is not the only terrible thing I watched today, because I watched the first episode of season 2 of Strangled Nude Worms, and it's just as wretched as the first season. You'll be happy to know. Or maybe you won't be happy to know. Aggressively Relaxing. Hey there.
DJ Ronnie G, thank you. That was an incredibly kind note to leave me in the chat. Thank you so much.
I don't think have we seen Aggressively Relaxing before? Well, it's good to see you there.
Hey!
Yeah.
I want to aggressively relax.
Aggressively Relaxing says Strange New Worlds is so much fun. Well, we beg to differ with you on that, but all opinions are welcome here, Aggressively, by the way, but I hate it and think it's maggot-infested filth. But, you know, everyone's entitled to like anything they want to like around here. Except for Donnie Pearson. He has to agree with me all the time. Or he won't. I will revoke his Mighty Morphin power card. Just kidding, Donnie. I just want to see if you're still there.
Yeah, Fiona, these are not zipped in a regular way. Because, of course, on Mac, all you have to do is double click and they automatically unzip. It actually prompts me to download an app.
You will remember if you saw me. I would. Well, that's cool. I would remember. Well, let's there you go. Works for me.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone could watch the new stuff. It's corporate Star Trek is just not enjoyable.
It's not Star Trek, so yeah.
Yeah, it's not Star Trek, and not only that, the entire relationship is just polluted. It's like slathering yourself in shit and then asking people to hug you. I mean, there used to be a time when you would have individual storytellers or storytellers who worked together to have a relationship with the audience, and now it's like these corporations and many of the writing teams are actually psychologists who are dealing with how to get you to buy things, how to get you into a cycle of constantly being involved in a cliffhanger, so you'll always be addicted to the show and you'll always watch the show and there's never any resolution, and trying to get you to buy products, and then now we have these folks who are trying to cultivate the corporate the corporation's ability to get funding through sending certain messages to the audience and stuff, and it's just a big load of shit. I don't like using profanity on air, but it's just the truth. Storytelling should be you telling a marvelous story and taking folks on a marvelous adventure. I don't think corporations should be telling stories. I think corporate storytelling should come to an end.
The Voyagers book from the 90s is Early Voyagers, you mean? Is one written by that guy who had that conversation with that lady in Central Park, dubbed the Central Park Karen. It's a great shit. Yeah, that guy did work for Marvel. So was it Ian Abnett and Lanning or whatever that you're thinking of? I'm not thinking. But I know there was a Marvel comic that had a conversation, and I think a Marvel Comics writer or something. But I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about or not. It's very vague memory. But what I'm talking about is, of course, well, I'll show it real quick. We're not going to review it tonight, but I'll show you what the comic book is. If I can find it on here.
And Chris Persia just said there's a free app called Simple Comic, which should work on a Mac.
We'll do this next week, but I'll just show you here.
Thank you, Chris.
Simple
Comic.
All right, so this is the comic we will review starting next week.
I'm so excited.
Hang on. What? I did something. Oh, exit something. Crap. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Let's see here. See, I can see it pretty well, but I even had to start close. But
yeah, but that's the way I'm seeing it. And when I do Splat Plus, like when I do Command Plus, like it doesn't get better. The font just gets blurry.
Anyway, it was Dan Abnett and Ian Eddington wrote this one.
I cannot wait to read this. I think it's cool. Right? DJ Ronnie G's all excited. He's like, I have that comic.
I thought this was a pretty good series. I wish it had lasted longer. There's a trade paperback that has them all.
I'm going to simple.
But I thought the guy Patrick Zurch did a pretty nice job on the art. You know, it's pretty cool. I thought it was pretty good. I hadn't read it in a long time. He does a pretty decent Pike. I mean, obviously comics don't look exactly like. See, they're not even when they do comics. They're usually not even allowed to make them look like the actors.
Oh, Chris found me an actual Mac plugin. God,
okay.
Love you. Chris, love you, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, DJ Ronnie G's got that one. Yeah. That was when Marvel got the property back for a while in the late 90s. And they did a couple of other good ones too. We're going to jump around a little bit. We're going to do this and we're going to jump all over the place each week. But
I want him to go in a linear fashion, but he doesn't want to do that.
If you want to, I'll consider it. We could do all 16 issues of this if you want to. I mean, but tonight, since Mark wasn't here with us,
I'm so happy that Chris recommended this, and I don't have to worry about malware.
If you'd like the first issue, we'll continue. Maybe we'll continue. He said, I served under Captain April in the fan film First Frontier. Oh, okay. Cool.
So let's see if I can open this now with the plugin. What?
First fan
it
film
works
First
automatically, and I can page scale. Chris Persia, I love you. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
You got it? Oh, you can do any comic on there? Oh, wow. Chris
and this
Persia
is actually
rocks.
made for Mac, so it's not BS.
Oh, wow.
Now, let me see if I can blow it up.
Well, that's excellent. Chris, you the man.
Chris
Persia is the man here.
Humans. Oh, and it's not blurry.
Hey.
Oh my God. It's just, if you were here, I'd just smooch your face.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. There you go, Chris.
Okay, so now I'm going to read this comic. Ooh, it's 37 pages long.
Is it really? First issue's a little longer than the other ones, I guess. Well, a lot of it's ads. Some of it's ads, though. So.
Oh, my goodness. No malware. Apple plugin. Chris Persia is a god. And the crowd goes wild. Yay. Finally.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Let's see. Yeah, it was good. Pearson last fan film. Good. That got to be full length. Working on those sets was the greatest thing ever. Were those sets now aggressively? I visited the Starship Farragut as sets that also sometimes were used for Star Trek Continues. Where were those sets? In Kings, whatever it was, Kingsland, Georgia, which was near Jacksonville. Are those the sets you're talking about, or did you go somewhere else? Just curious.
Fiona, easy CBR, which I believe is made by Dropbox. And the reason why I chose that, of course, is because that's online. I hesitate to download things due to, malware.
Yeah, Larry, I've heard about the New York State sets. I heard they're great too. That's James Cowley, right? And Ticonderoga.
God, this is a beautiful comic now that I have it on Apple.
Yeah, DJ Ronnie G, they really did ruin Comicology. It's awful. I don't even bother with my account though. I still have comics in my Comicology account. I don't even use them anymore. I mean, it's just ridiculous how bad it is. So it's
I can't
working,
believe how clear this is, Clubby.
Nice.
Like I can actually read it. Like the third page at that
excellent.
easy CBR or whatever. There's no way you could read it.
Nice.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to read my first Star Trek comic book.
Fiona
Look
says,
at what you've done to me.
I've done it. Comic Flow. Is that a good one for reading comics? Is that just a reader app there, Fiona, or what? Because I need one for my phone. My phone, you talk about how glitchy that site was on your computer. It's fine on my phone, on my computer. I mean, look at it. It's just.
Well, some people are oblivious to malware, and so they'll just download it or they'll click on it or whatever, and it's so bad. But the minute you go there and it's lighting up like a Las Vegas casino, it's time to leave. You need to go now. But this thing that Chris just sent me is totally clean. It's good. I wonder if they have something for Android.
I don't know. It was all made for the film in East Atlanta. Oh, wow. Yeah, I would love to visit that guy in New York. I think it has TOS and about to have TNG. The Atlanta, I knew they had some sets over there. But
I can't believe I'm going to read a comic. This is so cool. I'm finding it hard to pay attention because this is on my desktop now, and
don't
look
worry
how
about
sexy it looks.
It's the clubhouse. We're just hanging out now. We don't even have Mark with us.
But
so we're
Clubby, this is a sexy comic.
Good art.
It is good art.
I thought he did a pretty good job of it. And again, unlike certain people who make certain shows that aren't really Trek, they could tell the people who wrote this comic, at least, care about Pike and they have the real crew of the Enterprise there.
Oh, Jeffrey Hunter. Jeffrey Hunter looks exactly like Jeffrey Hunter. Like this 100% looks like my Jeffrey.
Dr. Boyce is the only one that doesn't look right, but everyone else looks pretty close. As far see, they're not really allowed to make the characters look exactly like their TV counterparts. Or at least usually they're not.
Oh my God!
Depends, right?
I can't believe I'm going to read a comic, and it's sexy. Like this comic is sexy.
Yeah. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yay! Oh, Chris Persia, once again, my hero. The guy is like the sweetest human being. Oh, I love you.
East Atlanta aggressively. Did you ever go to Dragon Con much? I used to go all the time. Flesh of my flesh. There we go. Let's see here. Comic screen is astonishing comic reader for Android. Okay. Oh, astonishing comic reader. Okay.
Way better. Way better.
Star Trek Online just made a deep cut, bringing back a Tholian character from the comic series 5-year mission. It was okay. I know a lot of people who do play the online games. So yeah. Let's see. That giant spaceship beastie is a tad cockromish. I approve. It is a little cockromish, I guess. Yeah. Patrick Zurcher's a pretty good artist. He's been around for a little while.
I don't even need my bifocals to read this one.
Greg Adams inker. Now, I'm thinking that's Neil's son there. Hungry, maybe. Oh
my God! You know what this means? I'm gonna have new Star Trek stories in my head.
Oh my! So you might even like some of them. You're going to be very critical, like I am. They have a lot. Yeah. Look, there are a lot of crappy Star Trek comics. Let me tell you now, straight up. Some of them don't know how to write the dialogue. They're kind of clunky. Some of them don't know how to plot the stories. I mean, they're better than filth, but they're up and down. But at least they're the real characters. So
Yeah, but I've read so much neurological evidence on how human beings imbibe and process digital storytelling, digital information. I think as soon as we hit the stuff that I have the tactile stuff that I have, I'll be hitting those comics hard because it's just, you don't remember the things you read digitally, and it doesn't marry with your brain the same way as it does when you're holding it in your hands and you're reading it from a book. So I find this very exciting, this whole thing extremely exciting. Oh yes, this is just so much fun. I don't even know what to say.
Well, JT Kirk, yes. Anyone, if you have if you have Twitter, you could DM me over there if you want. If you're talking about a link for where I get the Trek comics, I'll be glad to send that to you. Or you can send me an email, and I'll make sure I'll check them, and I'll send you a link to those. And aggressively said, let's see. Yeah, Dragon Con is a ton of fun, especially if you were into cosplay. Yes, I used to go up until about 2016. I didn't miss it for like 20-something years straight, except for once because of a hurricane. So, JT, you can sit if you want. If you could DM me, or you could email me, and I'll send you the links. The link. Clobbered Times. What about East Atlanta? I was just telling aggressively. She mentioned or he, or I don't know if aggressively he or she aggressively mentioned East Atlanta. So I asked if they had ever been to Dragon Con, which I've been many times.
This is so crazy. What if you get me reading comics?
Oh,
this is bat poop crazy.
You don't want to read comics, they'll break your heart.
Well, listen, I don't think I would ever be interested in comics unless it,
Star Trek, of course.
Yes, you could get me in with Star Trek, and you could also get me in with A Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I'll see what I can do.
I won't lie. Creature from the Black Lagoon is like, that is just honey, sweet goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Love it.
Look who's here. Six. Oh, you're too kind to do that, Six. Love you. Oh my goodness. She says, I'm behind and listening on 2 hours. Thank you, Raquel, for causing me to take my copy of Frankenstein down from the shelf.
I love you.
Thank you so much for that, my dear. Love you, Six. Good to see you. Sorry I had to bow out of the show quick today.
Six, before we get away from Six, I just wanted to say, I just recently, through a university, acquired the copy before Mary Shelley had it originally changed. So like her original copy. So it's like the pre-published copy. And I have as yet to go through it. But the one thing that I do love to mention whenever you take down that original Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus is, I think, but I'm not sure. I would need to check my university notes. But one thing that I noticed as somebody who took writing and editing in university, that when I started to study that book, I was like, wow, she sure says countenance a lot. And I believe I counted 68 times. I think it was 68. I would need to check my notes. 68 times she says countenance. She really liked using the word countenance. But, she also wrote the story when she was like, 16 years old? So pretty incredible for such a young girl to write such a wonderful story and for it to have such a huge cultural impact. But yeah, I just got my super old copy.
So Fiona, you go to Dragon Con, eh? Hey. Having had fun there. Yeah, I stopped having fun there for a while, but I kept going. It was the only vacation I got for many years, I kept going out of habit because I had a friend that lived near there, and I had friends that hang out at the con. I got kind of burned out on cons after a while. The big ones anyway. I still go to the little ones around here once in a while to visit with some friends. Thank you so much again, Six, by the way. It's lovely to see you.
I love her. She's a sweetheart. And why did JT Kirk say I should have said it one more time? Did I miss something you said, JT Kirk? I love everything you say, and everything you say is should have said it one more time. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. 69 for countenance. Forget it. I thought we missed something you said, and you were just making a joke.
No.
Ignore me.
Oops. TwoMorrows. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Now that you got that, we can review anything. Sorry for the delay, but everyone. But I'm glad now Raquel could do that because I was thinking throughout the week. I'm like, I don't want to. I mean, Raquel has enough stuff. Just like Mark, they both have tough day jobs and things to do and all that kind of stuff. The things to do, and don't put another burden on yourself. If you review a TV show and another TV show and 4 other episodes on Saturday night. Do you need any more things to take up your time? But my nothing show, don't worry about that. But so you don't have to. But if you want to, great. So I'll send the comic link, and if you want to, fantastic. If not, I understand because it's time consuming. I review how my J-Man and I because of what J-Man and I are doing. I'm reviewing a bunch of shows and comics a week.
Hooby-dooby.
What's up, Herc? Why did you get burnt out on the big cons, Clubby? Says Ezra. Ezra, I think it was simply I'm really the kind of job I was doing and stuff. I really never had a whole lot of time to, or couldn't really afford to go on like big elaborate vacations. So I just went to the same con over and over every year at Labor Day weekend, which was Dragon Con. For about 20 some odd years, 24, 25 years, whatever it was, with missing one because of a hurricane. Other than that, and I just got, I think you just get burned out. It's a big con, and so it was, as vacations go, it was easy and cheap for me, and I think that's what it's just a matter of just doing it over and over again. It's pretty simple. And it just kind of got dull for me, but at the same time, it was something to do. It was cheap, like I said, and I was able to visit some friends. That was the same with the friends and seeing the friends. That was still great. My great retro blasting buddies, for example, that's what I met them at Dragon Con. So every year, at least I got to see them back when they were still going to the con, and they lived, they were around that area. So, yeah. So I guess Ezra I don't like big crowds much. You can't. I love going to comic shops and bookstores. You get better stuff that way than cons. Things are expensive at cons. Everything about going to a con is expensive. It was fun to sit around and watch all the costumes and stuff. So I can't put my finger on it. I just got kind of burned out on them because if that makes sense to you, I went so many times that I just got a little tired of it. Aggressively reaction is asking, and nope, that's an interesting question. It says, I get you aren't digging SNW, Strangled Worms, but do you want to see Pike change history or end up in the chair? I want to show, well, this show already doesn't respect canon, so it kind of doesn't matter what they do. So I don't have an opinion on that. If I did, I would want it to respect canon, though, to be as fair to your question as I can. Problem is they've already disrespected him. Knowing his fate is stupid. Everything about the show is stupid, really. Everything from having Uhura on the ship when she shouldn't be, having Samuel Kirk on the ship's moronic, having Dr. Mbenga on there instead of Dr. Boyce, having Nurse Chapel and Christine Chapel on the ship is idiotic. Having Spock messing around with T'Pol when he wasn't, excuse me, T'Pol. I love T'Pol. T'Pring when he shouldn't, when he only met her when she was 7 years old. And, all the unbelievably moronic canon violations, like what they've done with the Gorn. Now all of a sudden they're talking about a stupid war with a Klingon or Federation Klingon war. That never happened. And they're just making shit up. And they have Spock acting like a Klingon in that last garbage, the new one. To me, if they just came out and said it's another universe and we're just going to go our own way and your old universe is fine over there, we're not making it anymore, but this is totally different, I can at least deal with that and go, okay, that's fine. But they constantly say this is canon and it's not. And it's disgraceful what it does. It dumps all over Star Trek. And I know a few things about an upcoming episode that are making some of this show's staunchest defenders sick. So, oh yes, it's also stupid to have a descendant of Kanuni and Singh on the ship too. There's no end of stupid on this show. It's just one big wrapping of stupid and canon violations. It's like, look, I get you guys don't care about the old Star Trek, but some do. So, just what about the Khan Super? Yeah, talk about everything's canon violation in the show, and what they did to Kirk, and it's just so bad. Anson Mount, good actor. I mean, let me tell you something. I never blame actors anyway. Actors are just doing a job. Usually, they're pretty good professional people who are good at what they're doing. So I have nothing against the actors, but what they did to the Gorn alone. Oh, and I hear they're about to really trash the Cage, so they can go straight to hell. I don't know, but I'm thinking they're probably gonna. Pike knowing his fate is so stupid. It's yeah, but look, a lot of people are liking it. So what do I know? I mean, people like whatever they want to like, and that's fine. I can only tell you why I like or dislike something. And to me, like Raquel, so she calls it corporate Star Trek, and then that's what it is. Of course, it's not, which means not real Star Trek. But hey, if it makes someone happy, and you're getting happiness at my expense, I'm like, yeah, well, I'll just go back and watch my Star Trek, and none of this happened. And I wish they would just admit it. Come out and say, all right, look, guys, we know that this is all ridiculous. I mean, none of your Trek could happen if this is happening. It doesn't make any sense. They don't fit. I mean, there's canon violation, then there's canon mutilation. The old Trek, for example, violated its own canon sometimes. The original series, how many times did they say it was 200 years in the future? Then that movie, the motion picture, comes along and it's 300 years. Then the next one, Wrath of Khan, is back to 200 years. Then later they said it's back to 300 years, and then TNG's 400 years. I don't mind stuff like that. It doesn't bother me. It didn't even bother me that Klingons looked like beatniks on the old show, and then they got all the ruffle heads, and they kept changing those too. And they later decided to they didn't try to explain that till later. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. It's a TV show. If it's a good show, you can kind of see, because they did that kind of crap in comics so much. On TV, it doesn't bother that much. But out and out canon violations, and it's just revolting to me when they know better, and they don't have to do that stuff. Even if it's just a not good show, as long as it's showing some respect. I mean, like, I'd have more respect if it were just a show that wasn't very good, but wasn't dumping all over the original. Leave the original characters alone. Do your own little crap if you want to. Make your own characters, and I might think it sucks, but if you leave the old characters alone that I love, then we don't have a problem. I'll be like, whatever, it's okay. Because the people always said, well, we'll never get our characters back if you don't love everything they do. Like back when the 09 crappy remake came out, and I said, look, I don't want them back if they're going to do this. Let them do their own thing. Make your own damn characters. And then I won't care. Do your own shit, a-holes. But no, as always with these people, they've never created anything in their lives. That's why I have no respect for them. They take the creations of others, like in this case, Gene Roddenberry, but many other examples of it throughout comic book history and movies and TVs. They take the creations of others and stamp all over them and rip them to shreds and suck them dry. And then if anyone complains about it, you get called all kind of names and stuff, like you're a loser or something. No, maybe I just don't like to see the works of others destroyed by others who have no creative abilities. Like Ronald D. Moore and Rick Berman, all these people. Hey, what did you ever create? You want to trash Roddenberry? What did you ever create? Okay? You want to try, like when they go, other guys have been criticized too, but you're no Rod Serling yourself. You're not a Rod Serling or a Patrick McGowan, a true creator, or Leslie Stevens, or Gene Roddenberry, or a lot of the people who created things. Name me one thing. What did Ronald D. Moore ever create? He worked on Gene Roddenberry's creation, and he worked on Glenn Larson's creation. Mm-hmm. And people like it. It's fine. But I can't stand that. That was happening in comic books years before it started happening in movie and TVs. So I'm used to it. And it just makes me sick. Hey, Bruce. Sorry to go off on a rant. But
what you're saying is true, and it reveals how incredibly moronic the rhetoric is. If you're going to create something for yourself. If you have to use somebody else's story to create something, and then you also, at the exact concurrently, you decide that you're also going to, run their reputation through the mud, mock them, say that what they made was
Right.
stupid, too idealistic, unbelievable. It needed to be written. It needed to be, reformed, and it needed to be rebooted.
Right.
It just shows that the person is a lying skis bag, because if you really hated a story that much and you really despised that author so much, why wouldn't you just write your own thing and be famous? Instead,
Right.
they come in and they use somebody else's story. They say the most horrendous things about the authors, and they act like they're some sort of heroes for doing it. It's really, really disgusting, and I'm sick of it. I'm also sick of people being on social media trying to make it seem like that's not what's happening. If we would not know who Ronald D. Moore is if it weren't for actual authors and creators. I know of nothing Ronald D. Moore has ever created himself. Ever.
No. Look, there's some talented writers who can take the creations of others and do good things with them. I just ask them to show respect. I mean, look, this happened in comics to me. The first time, the big one was John Byrne, and he's very beloved by our dear Mark C. Loved him. A lot of people love. I love his art, but I will ask everyone: name me one thing John Byrne ever created. He's done some good comics. He's good, a good artist. He's only ever taken the creations of others and did his, and sometimes insulted the creator and did his own thing with it. Now, later in life, he's kind of pulled back on some of that because he got older, maybe. But when I used to get attacked from all sides of my criticisms of John Byrne, I used to say, well, name me something he's ever created. He's done some good comics with other people's creations. And it's perfectly fine if you write some really good Star Trek episodes, even though you didn't create it. I will give you the credit for it. But show the respect for the guy who created it, Ronald D. Moore, who wrote a couple of things that were pretty good and wrote a couple of things that sucked. But hey, man, if you don't agree with Gene Roddenberry's philosophy on the thing, what are you doing there? I know the answer. You're collecting a paycheck. But if you don't, keep your trap shut to show respect and do your own thing. You could say, well, you know what?
Especially if you're cashing paycheck after paycheck after paycheck.
Yeah, all he has to do is say, well, look, it's tougher to write under these kind of conditions because I'm not used to it. I mean, you could make a respectful criticism for sure, but not, making fun of him and mocking him and do all this kind of crap. And then, totally just show no respect by writing idiocy that doesn't have any place in Star Trek. I keep using Moore as an example. He's nowhere near the only example.
Well, I think that also just could be your subconscious
because we're doing
speaking directly to you, because we talk lately, about this. Yeah, we talk about this on Saturday Night Star Trek all the time, and look at the way that the 735ers, the clobberers on Saturday Night Star Trek, look at how they've reacted to hearing the open disgust that a lot of people who are involved with the reformation of Star Trek, how open they are about name calling Gene Roddenberry, saying that the story is dumb, saying that it needed to totally be changed, it totally needed to be updated. It was a utopia that wasn't even realistic. You remember when, I think is it Renee Echevarria, who had a full conversation in the block text about how he thought that the Prime Directive was ridiculous, dumb, and so he had written an entire script to demonstrate what a stupid idea he thought it was. I disagree with you a little bit, Clobby, insofar as I think that if you're working for someone and you're publishing under that person's name, I don't think you should criticize. I think that if you have any criticisms to offer and you're not interested in writing under that idea in that world, that you should F off. And you would not even hear of these people. No one would even know who they were if it weren't for the story making, the storytelling, and the make-believe world created by other people. And it really is hard to take. And the more you get into the scholarly evidence that is that original source material, direct interviews with these folks, with them directly admitting how disgusted they are with Gene Roddenberry, what scum they think he is, and how dumb they think his stories are, and then proceed to, write for the show. Why? And so this never gets talked about on social media, except for on our show. And people have said in our chats that they're horrified now that they've actually read it in print. I think Michael Beacom actually said one time, these people are shameless. I doubted how much these people would actually admit to in interviews, but these people are shameless. I can't believe they say this stuff.
Lisa. No, you're right. They're fools. And again, now all I'm saying is he's entitled to his opinion. Yeah, he shouldn't be, while he's working there, he shouldn't run around while at work. I'm talking about later interviews and about his past work there. I don't care.
Yeah.
But he should show proper respect while he's there. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah. It's just, this is something that's bothered me for a long time, way before it started happening to Star Trek and Star Wars and Doctor Who and other things like that. They were doing it in comics. People were taking the creations of guys who didn't get paid a lot that created these things, and they would just, not only would they, in a few instances, insult that creator or insult what things that went before them, even if they would even go after fans who would criticize them. It's like, I can write this character. Yeah, you didn't create him though, did you? And of course, in a lot of cases, these characters, Marvel and DC in particular, but they're certainly not the only ones, but they're the biggest. So they get the blame, rightly so. They're both built on blood, the blood of creators who were screwed over big time. Lemon Pie, what's up?
Lemon Pie.
And they are built on the people being screwed over things that they created. At least Gene Roddenberry, he didn't have full ownership of Star Trek, I guess, but he owned a good bit of it, right? I mean, at least he got it. He's one of the rare creators that at least was able to instill his family owns a piece of it. Right, so that's good. Whereas there's so many who haven't. In fact, it's easier to count the ones who, as far as legendary fictional properties are concerned,
who didn't get anything out of it.
It's easier to count the ones who did own it. Edgar Rice Burroughs had an estate. I think Robert E. Howard had sort of something of an estate. Conan Doyle had an estate. But they're obviously J.K. Rowling, they're few. Well, she not even having the estate. She owned it all. She owns hers. She and George Lucas might be the two that I can think of that until he sold his like an idiot, that own their own creations, lock, stock, and barrel. Usually creators of things that become very popular don't.
Yeah, well, the corporations make sure of that. They wave a check and they say, look, this, you sign on the dotted line. And, and at that point, you've given your life over. Like, I don't make a lot of money. And when people have found out the royalties I make off of Amazon, they're appalled. They just can't believe it. So when do you have time to create? When will you be compensated for your creation? You don't. People like J.K. Rowling are a 1 in a million. It's like Stephen Hawking said in the last book he wrote before he passed away. I can't imagine, I'm paraphrasing him here, I can't imagine even attempting to publish a book today, because there are so many books. Like there was a time when, you could actually read all of the good books that were out that year and so on and so forth. And now there are so many of them that, you can't even hope to be discovered. So it's not about quality. It's whether or not a corporation takes interest in you. And certainly when you're talking about science fiction, one thing we know in an academic sense that is beyond debate, and that is that the typical relationship betwixt an author and a corporation when it comes to science fiction is the achievement of celluloid. That is them finding these marvelous short stories or a marvelous novella or a novelette or even a novel and saying, okay, let's make this into film. And this is the typical modus operandi or method of operation when it comes to science fiction and corporations. And the public likes it. Like the public used to really like short stories in their magazines and stuff. But typically a science fiction fan wants it on TV or they want it in a great film. And so that makes some creators super vulnerable because the public has this bizarre impression that because they sign a contract to finally make some money for once in their lives, that they're no longer the author. It's just, sort of inspired by or whatever. And anybody can do whatever they want to that film. And it's really a deal with the devil kind of thing that the modern audiences are provoking in the things they consume. And it's so insane because it has led to the absolute destruction of quality in what they're seeing on television, in what they're seeing in the theaters. It's not supposed to be corporations create culture. Corporations create arts and entertainment. Corporations are supposed to be there to support artists. But Gene Roddenberry, if you listen to what Majel said about Gene after he died, she actually said, my husband, if he wanted to be remembered for anything, my husband wanted to be remembered as a talented author. That's all the guy ever wanted.
Was that?
And here people are, 60 years later, talking about him like he's a piece of crap, just treating him like he's an absolute piece of garbage, making it seem as though, they're going to use his stories to make millions, but he's really just a goof. He's not intelligent. He's a misogynist. He's a real a-hole. He's dumb, and his ideas are stupid. And what is this utopian crap anyway? And when you hear that enough on social media, you begin to think that the entire public has been brainwashed by corporate crap.
Yeah.
Just crap, Clobby.
Yep. We'll always have Quester, says Fiona. Yeah. Obviously, like I said, you mentioned Quester and
Quester!
Genesis 2 and Planet Earth and Spectre. I loved his writing on the greatest Western TV show ever made, Have Gun Will Travel. Roddenberry wrote about 20-something episodes of that one. And, man, there was a distinctness to a Roddenberry story on that show. To a Paladin adventure. Roddenberry wrote some of my favorite ones, like I said. So he was an excellent writer, of course. Obviously, great creator, great writer.
Yeah.
And, hey, I mean, the biggest names and the greatest names that I respect the most in TV writing, of course, are Roddenberry and Serling. Patrick McGowan.
Yeah.
Number 6.
McGowan. Yeah.
Terry Nation. I mean, there are a lot of great writers, lots and lots of great TV writers that don't get any notoriety as TV screenwriters because
that's right.
They just don't. Unless you created a show like Leslie Stevens was at Outer Limits, unless you're Serling or people like that, you don't get a lot of notoriety.
Yep.
For creating
and there's no
stuff.
respect for the storytelling and corporations have done this on purpose. That's why I love on this show the fact that you allow me to do Tales of Tomorrow. No one else would let me do anything like that. They would think it was hokey. They would make fun of it. They wouldn't even understand the nature of it. The nature of the fact that, I would like to write a dissertation on it. That's my ultimate goal is this idea about communications and technology, about how we no longer have this evergreen relationship with these magazines that we have in doctors' offices, on the bus, at the local deli, or at the local diner, or something that you read in the lunchroom, where you get to read all of these short stories. And you get to have this relationship with these authors, and you get to explore all of this and cultivate all of these great stories, and then they get turned into teleplays. The whole relationship now is so messed up, that the corporations do all of the storytelling, and they put someone out in the front to represent a room full of 20 people that are PR people, marketing people, psychologists, all people vying for your corporate dollars. And they get in there and they apply their corporate hegemony, and they apply their hyperdidacticism, which they're now getting paid for. That now it's how investors, invest in that corporation, and it's just turned into complete insanity. This is not arts and entertainment. This is not storytelling, and Tales of Tomorrow shows that it can be a healthy relationship. You can have a short story told by a short storyteller, and it's just meant for short storytelling. It's not meant for any other purpose. They're not trying to take over the world or get somebody elected or change your mind about anything. They just want to tell a great science fiction story, and the corporation sees that that's how it can get you to buy things, by promoting this art. And that's what corporations should be doing. They should be promoting art, but they need to be kept at an arm's distance from art. And right now, not only are they not kept at an arm's distance, but corporations are creating art, regurgitated art, rebooted art. They have become the artist. And this should be really scary for the public. The public should be afraid right now, not going, oh, but Strangled Nude Worms is great. I just love it. It's awesome. We have more Star Trek. Yay! No. No. Do you know what I mean, Clubby? Like, you and I see what's happening. I just wish that other people would think a little bit longer on these relationships and realize, like, do they have any idea what it's like to when if we completely give over all of arts and entertainment and storytelling and story making to corporations, and that becomes it? Well, that's what it's like today. That's what it's like today. Try being a new author today. You think a corporation wants anything to do with you? You know what the corporations said to me about my stories, even though I have a distinguished university degree in storytelling? Unless you're already a proven author who has sold millions and millions of copies, we are not interested in episodic science fiction from you. So you already have to be famous in order to do this. And they don't want any new stories in film.
Yeah, of course.
They just want proven stories that you already purchased. So they're going to go back to all the cartoons. They're going to go back to all the classics. They're going to make them live action. They're going to reboot them. They're going to reform them. They're going to make them political. They're going to make them hyperdidactic. They're going to try and use corporate hegemony to get you to boost the value of their company by proving that you have these political relationships with what you buy. It's almost as if arts and entertainment will be a form of you voting. If you buy it, you voted on your brand, on your personal brand, about who you are. A corporation will not only become arts and entertainment, but our identities. And that's really scary. It's really scary.
Indeedishness. Yep. Hello there. Oh, I thought someone popped in. No. Oh, okay. No. Oh, here we go. Could not be reached. My slight disagreement with you would be that it's not one of the greatest westerns ever. Have Gun Will Travel's the greatest TV western ever. I know, just splitting hairs, so. But it is the greatest. Like me. No.
Yes. Eric K, I saw that as well. Isn't that terrible?
What's that? Oh, yeah.
There was another attack on Monet.
Crap.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, very sad.
So it's awful. Mm-hmm. It's horrible. Well, I guess we can start to mosey. I know it's a late night for you, and obviously you have stuff to do tomorrow. Everyone probably has to get moving.
Yes. And I hope we showed it a good time, even though Mark wasn't here.
Yeah, we'll blame Mark for if you didn't have a good time. It's all Mark's fault, everybody.
Damn it, Mark!
Damn it, Mark! Now he might be hearing us for all we know. I don't know if he's out of the torture chamber. Movie.
Well, you were missed, Mark, and I hope we put on a good show.
If you're hearing this,
the clubhouse is really the three of us, not the two of us.
Yeah, but we managed. When one
did
of
we
us
do?
had,
I hope we did okay. I hope people were.
I hope so. We could have brought. You know, we could always like bring in a replacement sometimes, but we don't want to bug anybody. People have enough stuff to do out there.
Yeah.
You know, but unless we'll run a poll next week to see if you all want us to replace Mark. Just kidding.
We can't replace Mark.
I can't make that joke until he's actually here with us. So, no, we love him. Our chief engineer, we always miss him, but we'll see him soon. Don't worry. Thank you for that, Pop Culture. Appreciate that. So, basically, before we get out of here, let's do some beeswax. I will let, of course, we'll see if our wonderful first officer has any closing words. Number one.
Well, thank you so much, boss. I don't really have any closing words other than to thank my Patreon subs. Thank you for backing my book when the corporations won't. If you like storytelling and you don't need to be admonished and you don't need to be told who to vote for, you might be interested in my stories, and I could sure use your support. I have a new book coming out. It will be Volume 2, Science Fiction Tales Volume 2. There'll be 10 stories in this new book. And one of them is already a novelette. And so there'll be 10 of them, and I'm 4 deep into them, and they're on my Patreon. And there are some lovely human beings who are backing this new book, and I couldn't do it without them. It's Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba Pete, Eric Kane Kirby, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, Anti-Derivative Jill, Maximum Redstone, JT Kirk, Dabman and the Dabman Clan, and Lord and Lady Thoth. Thank you so much for supporting me. I want to thank every single person who came to the chat tonight. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to, to be a part of this, to add your voice here, to create this beautiful conversation. These gorgeous conversations, they don't happen without you. You make these things happen with your beautiful, brilliant minds and your marvelous hearts and just your kindness and your knowledge and your willingness to create magic with us. And I just love you all and appreciate you so much. Each and every one of you. I try and get to every single comment you guys write. Sometimes I miss them, but I do my best. And I just want you all to know how grateful I am for each and every one of you. And I want to thank the Wrenches. Thank you so much for your help. And definitely to Chris. Chris, I would not have been able to read these comics without you. Everything I was looking at was all malware. And what you showed me tonight is not only clean, but it's working like a well-oiled machine. So love you, honey. Thank you so much. I want to give a shout out to our chief engineer, Mark D with a C. Make sure that you follow Mark D with a C on YouTube. He's also a maker, and we sort of twisted his arm to open a Patreon account. He's a wonderful maker, and he could use your support. He makes really cool Star Trek things that no one else makes. Like you could get a Doomsday machine from him, and it's not Bush League stuff either. It's like Major League, really cool 3D prints that he paints and finishes, and they're gorgeous. Gorge, as Bill Shatner would say, gorge. And last but not least, I want to thank Clubby. Clubby, I love you so much. You're one of the best friends I've ever had in my entire life. I just love you so much. Thank you for being my friend and for giving me an opportunity to be here to talk about all this cool stuff with you. Thank you for teaching me about comics and just being an overall cool guy. I love you very much. And I think that's it.
Love you too. Back at you. You're too kind, and you're the best. Thank you so much for being the most wonderful first officer in the fleet, and just you're the greatest. You make doing this a lot of fun. I wouldn't be doing it without you. Wouldn't want to do it without you. Let's do some show notes, and then some shout outs, and then we'll get out of here. First off, tomorrow night, I should be hanging out with Nicholas and the gang over at 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser's Comic Shop Talk, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, with Nick and the boys talking some comics. I don't know what yet, but I had a pretty good idea what we're talking about. Saturday night Star Trek.
Dun, 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 dun.
Same Trek time, same Clubby Channel. 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 7. And then, of course, speaking of the great Mark D with a C, Sunday night on the Sunday Night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern. He has one of the coolest channels going. He's getting started, and if you have a chance, you got nothing to do late on a Sunday night, either to end your week well, start your week well, whatever the case may be, come hang out with us because we just geek around. I'll try to keep him from talking about food, and I never can't seem to stop him, but we'll try. We'll try because it always
so
goes
bad.
into food talk. I'll promise to keep it as geek as we can. So, but I can't.
It's worse like when he tries to like defend the sea tongue pizza.
Okay. I know.
Mark,
I wish
you
you
eat
even said that.
pizza. What are you doing?
Don't
and
even.
He's so passionate. He's like, but it's good. It's award winning.
No.
And
I wish I
no,
hadn't
Mark.
mentioned that now. You're
No.
going to talk about seafood. By the way, 6. Oh, should love it when it's the 3 of you. No newbies. Thank you so much, 6. I love you. You rock. 6 is the best.
We love you very much. And Larry, my middle name is actually Marianne. It's Raquel Marianne.
Oh, there we go. And indeed, Marianne and Martin and the Professor and Marianne here on CLOBBERIN. Legion Talk, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on my good buddy J-Man show Monday nights. 3 Mondays out of the month. Sean and Jay and I review in chronological order every appearance of the Legion of Superheroes from 1958 to 1989, silver through bronze. And then, of course, Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. I will give a good Clobberin Times tribute and tribute show to the late great John Romita Sr. We've lost another great comic book legend. It hurts. This one hurts me big time, but I love John Romita Sr. and I want to give him a proper send-off, proper release. Well, I think it'll be anyway. Tribute to one of the great artists of all time. So.
And if anyone's collecting all of the tributes, and so you're doing a search of YouTube or you're just doing a search of social media in general, we just wanted to say thank you to his son for reaching out on social media to all of the fans to let us know what happened. It was incredibly kind to let us know about this, and we just want you to know how that we're sending our deepest condolences, and that we're just sending all of our love and support to you and your whole family, and we're so sorry for your loss.
A big loss to all who love comics. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for being here with us tonight. Of course, our great wrenches, Eric K. the Bronze Wrencher, the great Chris Persia, Vindicated Wrench of the North, D-Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron, Lord and Lady Thought, they've lived long live the Legion, the Wrench Without Fear, J-Man, Master of the Cluboni, Hungry Boys, Stephen Cal-El, Patty's Daddy, Fanty Outsider E. Let's see. Whoops. And so, who else was here with us tonight? The lovely 6 was here. The lovely Fiona. The lovely Lisa. Well, we like it when the ladies are here, of course.
We're here. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
Love it. Larry. Thank you, man.
Oh, I love you, Larry. And that was a good guess. Oh, nothing. Just Larry was guessing what my middle name was, and he wasn't too far off, was he?
Lemon Pie. Yep. Could not be reached for further comment, my friend. Thank you. Oliver Belamonte, Pop Culture Republic, Donnie Pearson. Hang on. Sometimes I have to jump to the next. Takes me a second. If good not. Oh, hang on, everybody. Sometimes I have to vamp to get to the next. And DJ Ronnie G, Oliver Belamonte, Crease 1984. Sorry, I have to. Ezra Goldstein. Shalom. Pop Culture Republic. Sometimes I repeat some of them because of my memory's garbage. So sorry about that, everybody. And I'll forget I mentioned someone. Anyway, Lil Scotty. Vamp. Don't worry, folks. I know there are more. Just JJ Kirk.
But you got to yell it like Kirok. I am Kirok.
We'll be here all day if I do that. We'll be here all day. Night.
I won't.
Bruce Lombardo. This is the express shout out segment.
These are the express shout outs, then I will be quiet.
No, I mean, If you want, no. This is Clubhouse. If you want to do everyone with me,
No.
it's on you.
It's
You're
okay.
the one that wants
it's
to get out of here, not me.
Yes.
Lemon pie. Oh Lord, you rascal. Let's see here. Let's see here. I know there's more.
I think Crease is leaving. Crease, I
Night,
just want to
Crease.
say, I don't. I'm pretty sure you're not like a massive Star Trek fan. I know you're a huge geek, but I just want to say how like kind and sweet I think it is that you come here and support us. You're the best, and I'm so happy that you're joining us on Clubby's channel now. You're such a great
Yes.
personality and a kind person, and so it's good to have you. And I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. Clubhouse is different than the Saturday night Star Trek, right? So I hope you had a
Yes.
great time.
Thank you, Crease. It's always great to have you here. Aggressively relaxing. Herc 130.
Ooby dooby.
Ooby dooby. Ooby dooby 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 dooby. Ooby dooby ooby dooby. I'm trying to find another one. Ooby dooby. I think I already said 6, but I love 6. So I want to say it again. I'll say it 6 times. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. But I want to say it 3 times because we'll get in trouble. No mine. Let's see here. Ooh, dang me. Won't leave the rope and hang me. It's a little bit low to beat that loud. It's too late. Oh, 600 means, oh my God, it's early. All right, let's see. DJ Ronnie G. Let's see here. If I start singing your names, you are allowed to shoot me. I think I've got most of them, but you never know. See, I'm going up the list fairly slowly. I do this to Mark all the time. I'm going to say, you think we're done? And then it's, no, we haven't gotten everybody yet. There's always going to be somebody to pop out that Cardinal Cincy. Cardi. And again, chances are a lot of them aren't even here anymore, but that's okay. And incidentally, in that regard, all you lurkers out there, thank you so much. We really appreciate you lurkers and those listening on downloads or replays. Thank you so much. Bush pan down. Hey, see.
Bush pan down.
Blunt Philly reviews. Joseph Dredd. Here comes the judge.
Here comes the judge.
Different song, but okay, we'll allow it. Warrior of Justice. Warriors come out to play.
That's a good movie.
I love that. You know the Warriors?
I do know the Warriors.
Oh my, really? I love that movie.
I love that movie as well.
Dave
when I was young. What year is that?
1979, if I recall correctly.
Yep, I saw that when I was pretty young. It was good.
It used to run on cable a lot. Dave G Sound. But yeah, I want them all. I want all the Warriors. I want them live as possible, but I want them. Warriors come out to play.
Hey, you're scaring me. You're actually really too good at it.
Sorry. Oh, I bet the chat's making fun of me on that one. I don't blame them. I can't see.
No, I think you're actually scaring them because you're pretty good at that.
I'm sorry to scare everybody. Michael Bacon was here. Well, see? You don't go back, you never know. Dang it. Simply Steve.
Oh, and Scuba Pete was here.
And the golden Scuba Pete. He's the king of the Ramba Beach. When he plays the maracas, he goes chick, chicka boom, chick, chicka boom. Scott Knudsen. Hey.
And wasn't Lord Thoth here earlier?
I don't know.
I believe
I shouted him out anyway because with the wrenches.
Yeah.
He's a special. He gets a special one. So
yeah, we get hungry and we get HB and the wrenches too.
Oh yeah, we got Juxtapose was here though. There you
go. Yeah, Juxtapose was here.
Yeah, I'm almost there. Just make sure we get everybody because why not? You only live 50 times. You only live twice.
Hey, did we say Ezra Goldstein?
It seems. I did, but I'll say it again. Ezra Goldstein, shalom.
Shalom, honey.
Shalom. Let's see here.
And we got Pop Culture Republic.
I did.
Haven't seen him in forever, and I'm so proud that you have your own channel. But don't be a stranger because Clubby and I love having you around.
Yeah. Oh, you do now. Okay, cool. Everyone that wants to put Pop Culture Republic's channel link in there, please go subscribe to it if you will. Please, or go seek it out.
I know
whatever
he
it
has a
takes.
very similar name to someone else in our community. Please don't
Yeah.
get the two of those people mixed up.
No, go to
Pop Culture
Pop Culture
Republic
Republic.
is a very sweet person, and he's a friend of the clubhouse. Cool guy.
Indeedishness. Keely Chow, roll tide.
Roll Tide.
Rolling hard. Let's see here. Baby, baby, ba 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 ba. What
Bob
other
bob,
great
dang a
songs?
dang dang a ding a dong.
Boom, 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 boom. Jacob Picasso.
Picasso.
I've gone, will travel, reach the card of a
I haven't
man.
heard that song in so long.
All night without armor in a savage land. Lynn Barnett, hey, almost there, folks.
Oh yeah, Lynn Barnett was here.
Yep, I need a new system, or get this out of my system. I want something. So everybody, I want to thank you all. It looks like that's going to take care of it. I'm saying that there can't be anybody else. Jeff Morris was here. See, I told you there could be somebody else.
Yes. And the guy from Dick's Division, Bruce.
Bruce. I yelled out Bruce for sure.
Okay, good.
I wouldn't forget no Bruce. Hello, Bruce. Hello, Bruce. Hello, Bruce. Yeah, name's Bruce. My name's Michael. That's going to... Dad Man walking. Hey. You mind if we call you Bruce? Dave C. Brian Hepburn. And Brian Hepburn.
And Brian Hepburn. I can't believe we almost missed Dave.
Oh, man. Hepburn. Yeah. We got him, though.
And Donnie Pearson?
We got Donnie. Mazurus was here, though, too. See?
That's my old friend.
All right. Well, there's nobody. I haven't missed anybody. I got everybody except for Grim, and now I got Grim. So, Claude Salling was here way back at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going this thing backwards. But backwards is the best way to go in this case. All right, everybody. Looks like we got. If I did miss anyone, if anyone slipped through. What?
Before you go, we have a request from one of our friends. The chat is requesting either Howard Cosell or Orac before you go.
Well, that sounds like Hungry Boy, the greatest boy who's hungry, the greatest artist of all time. And I'll tell you something, you gotta watch that guy because he'll sneak up on you and draw a mustache on your back of your head. I don't know what is going on. I don't even know what that means. I just know that if Maddie's daddy were here, he would be quite angry at Hungry Boy for asking for this impression because he hates it. Everybody's a goddamn critic. Mr. Angel was here.
Yes, Chef was here.
I
know, Bruce. I'm terrible. You want to know why I'm awful, Bruce? Because I make myself look like a nincompoop on air. And how I do that is I actually attempt to read every single thing everyone says and pay attention to Clobby, and sometimes read notes on things or, just go and get things and stuff like that. So I sound like a real nitwit most of the time. Larry wants Gorn.
I'm sorry, but I'm not the Gorn here, gentlemen. The Gorn can't talk like this on Strangled Worms. Captain, I shall not be merciful to you. I hate humans, especially fools who put me on strange nude worms and turn me into an alien ripoff. Alex Klutzman, I shall destroy you. I shall not be merciful to Alex Klutzman.
I love you.
The Gorn shall destroy him.
So good. I
Ouch.
love your Gorn. Your Zeki. Little Zeki.
No.
Your Zek and your Gorn are so good. I can't even deal.
I'm sorry about that, Quark, but I don't want to do Zeki anymore. I don't think Zek is in any more episodes. Sorry about that. So you just have to get along without me anymore. So there's no more profit in me being on this stupid show, Quark.
Ezra's now saying that he has to hear a Blake 7 Oracle. He has to hear Orac. He must hear Orac.
Then kindly don't interrupt me. I don't think I do a very good Orac, actually. Actually, I don't think I do Orac well at all. Ezra, but I try. Avon, I do know the one bit of when Avon's looking to take him off the ship. He goes, damn it, what weighs 70 kilos? Avon, Villa weighs 73 kilos. Avon. Yeah. Villa. Whoa, that episode.
It's terrible.
Woo! Orbit.
It's one of the worst.
I love that episode so much.
It's like, yeah, but it is such a philosophical gut punch. Like, and if you think you have a position on that, I pity the fool. That is a bit that will rip your soul off of your body. That episode. That episode is horrible. But I love it. I'll watch it again and again.
They ripped it off on an episode of the new Outer Limits. They ripped that whole bit off of that episode called Orbit of Blake 7.
Yeah.
Millet weighs 73 kilos, Avon. Yeah. Kindly don't interrupt the superior system. Yeah. I can't do Orac. I don't like my Orac. I don't like any of my stupid impressions, but I really don't like my Orac.
No. Some of your impressions are absolutely incredible. But listen, that episode with Orac is horrible.
Orac's a little bastard. I mean, Orac's a monster. I love him. Remember, he tried to destroy them, but they put a bomb in him. So, yeah, Orac's a plotter. I love Orac.
I miss B7.
You know what? You're gonna make me go watch an episode right now. It's not. I sometimes just get in the Blake 7 mood and just throw any of my favorite episodes on. And they're like Star Trek, the original series. It's comfort food for the soul. That episode Orbit was one of the Titus Andronicus. I have that highly ranked for a 4th season episode. You know, a lot of people don't like the 4th season much, but I do.
Yeah,
and you know, I love Orbit.
Terrible. And it is like Titus Andronicus, which is obviously Hungry Boy knows me quite well. That's actually my favorite Shakespearean play. And that is also an opening moment that will tear your soul right off of your bones. It's
really?
That's Titus Andronicus is definitely, Ooh.
I have Orbit rated at number 16 overall. With our star, and the high 7+ is the most stars you can get it. I got it at 6.5. I love it. Written by the great Robert Holmes. Robert Holmes was a great Doctor Who writer and a great Blake 7 writer.
I love that episode. I will never forget how imaginative I thought that one episode was when we visit that planet where the planet is alive.
Terminal. I've got that at number 6.
Yeah, that one's definitely in my top. I don't care what anyone says about that one because I think that is one of the most original science fiction stories. Just the way how quirky it is and just how original it is. It doesn't borrow from anything. Nobody's done that before, especially in that way. So not only is it a lovely idea, but it's executed in a way where it's like, wow, this is such a cool science fiction idea. So I won't hear anything against that episode. That episode is just, cherry.
Yeah, that's the last episode of the 3rd season.
Yeah,
love it. Well, everybody, thank you so much. We're gonna get started talking Blake 7. Don't get me on Blake 7. I won't stop. And at least I have you and Mark to talk to about it with it now. And I just have nobody to talk to Blake 7 about. It was a bummer.
Dude,
my God!
Look who just came backstage.
Mighty Zarquan is here.
Oh, thank you. That makes me feel
here?
good. What are you guys still going on?
Well, we were taking a poll to see about replacing you, but now that you're here,
I hope no one replaces me, please.
No one will ever replace you.
Everyone in the chat said replace him, but we tried to talk him out of it.
I mean, I've seen enough multiverses tonight, so I came out of the movie theater looking much like Why? I came out looking much better. Actually, it was a much better looking version of myself. I don't want to spoil who's the last scene, but I don't want to say
I
who comes up.
spoiled the shit out of it earlier. I just went off on it. Don't worry.
Okay, so I came out of the movie theater looking like George Clooney.
That was you, yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
See, 6 stood up for you. She was the only one that wanted to keep
Thank you.
Just kidding. Yeah. No, she actually really did. She said no No replacements. So
Yeah,
you
I
came
did
this
too.
close.
I said there was no one
Yeah.
to replace you ever.
That's true. Only one that wanted to replace you was Hungry Boy. I had to talk him out of it. I'm kidding. HB, you know I'm teasing, buddy.
Well, it's my birthday.
He wanted to replace you with Mike Allred, but I wouldn't let him. But go ahead. What was that?
Well, it's my birthday tomorrow, so you better not be replaced on my birthday.
What? How did
Tomorrow,
I
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So it is tomorrow
said
already.
Nothing.
What?
We can't trust technology all the time.
Yeah, but
So
usually,
the engineer.
like, last year I sent you something for your birthday.
You
now
did. Well, you don't have to send me anything. No,
poop.
please. No,
This is
you don't have to send me
I
anything.
can sing you the
No.
birthday song tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd
Just
love
kidding.
that. So yeah, I mean, I didn't hate the movie. I just think of it like as an Elseworlds
It's a piece
movie.
of shit, man.
Well, he's not Barry Allen, but I love seeing. I'm a sucker for seeing.
Look,
Keaton,
let me
but
ask you.
I don't want to
ruin it for you.
rehash everything that you talked about.
I have to ask you something.
Okay.
I had it at a 3. Then Tom told me something that made me want to put it at a 0.
Oh no.
All right, who killed Nora Allen?
You don't know, right? Is it supposed to be Ebert Thorne, isn't it? I mean, is it the Reverse
He
Flash?
said it was Barry.
No, couldn't have been Barry.
Tom made a good case for it being Barry. Nobody else thought
Let
about
Mark
that.
digest. Let Mark digest for a second. Mark,
I thought it was
did
just
you think it was Barry?
I thought it was either the Reverse Flash or.
That's who it's supposed to be in the
oh,
comics. Yeah.
6 is ringing in. God, I love this woman.
She doesn't agree. But Tom made a good case.
And Larry says, "Who killed
He
JR?"
does say, "I got to go kill our mother." He did say that line.
No, it didn't. No, he said, "I've got to let her go or let her die," right? Or
no chance. I hope you're right.
Her. But I mean, the whole
Flash. They didn't even tell you.
The whole, Elseworlds or what's it called? What's the whole series based on?
Look at 6.
Flash. I was gonna say Flash.
But they
Flash.
didn't even follow that.
Yeah, and the worst part is, Miller is just cannot do Barry Allen. I mean, it's not where the character is written. It's written that way. So I look at it as like an Elseworlds. I got to see, Batman again, and
Barry kills his mom in the movie, according to Tom. That's right. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, I can't. That
Tom
can't
has been
be.
in court on Chris Gore's channel. Don't let his law experience fool you, Clobby. Have you seen that court? That courtroom is pretty riveting there. Chris Gore, people like Star Wars on trial, Disney on trial. So no, I didn't think it looked either Nick or I said that, and 6 didn't say that. Tom did.
Yeah. I mean, I can't fathom that. That doesn't make sense. But they totally screwed up the whole storyline by not having
Fiona, have you been paying a lot of attention?
Hate it in the morning.
That actually sounds like my friend Mark, but it took me several years to get to know him like that. You must be very intuitive. Fiona,
in the morning.
That is 100% Mark. Mark is too nice. He will hate it in the morning.
So anyway, just give us your thoughts on it before we're about to get out of here with all the goodbyes.
Yeah,
sorry. We'll go to the goodbyes, but go ahead and give us an addendum.
My friend and I, we did enjoy the movie, but we say it's just like as an Elseworlds movie. Really? It doesn't count. Yeah, I mean, it's not Barry Allen. So I'm going in at it low, and that's not Barry Allen, right? So it's just this crazy Elseworlds version of Barry Allen. So it doesn't fit the character at all. But I just seeing Keaton again as Batman. Of course, I hated the intro to Keaton in the movie. You always got to have the hero who's a recluse or a hermit like Howard.
I'm so sick of that shit.
Yeah, I'm sick of that. I hated that, right? But then they want to do that to have the arc where you brought me back.
I know.
But I mean the gadgets are cool. I didn't hate Supergirl. I thought she did a pretty nice job in the acting.
Supergirl.
But yeah, well, it's this alternative Elseworlds universe is the way I view it. So I mean, would I rather watch that again or Eternals? I mean, I'd rather watch that movie.
I think you're pronouncing that wrong.
Eternals.
Eternals.
Thank you.
And I thought that the scene with Batfleck was good, although it takes him much too long to take down the Humvee. But the vehicles are cool, and the interactions of the characters are well done. Arthur Curry, it was ridiculous, but I didn't mind seeing You said who was in the movie, right? You spoiled it.
Yeah, oh yeah. By the way, I want to go on the record. I totally agree with 6. I wanted to throw that at you to see what you thought because Tom did that to me, and I'm like, what? 6? I actually agree with you.
There's no way.
He killed his mom, condemned his father to jail. Okay, Tom.
There's
But
no way that happened. Yeah.
because at least, that I can't deal with it. Nobody can be.
Fiona would rather watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. That's how Carrie Fisher said. The late great Carrie Fisher said that she cleared the house out when the party went too long. She put on the Star Wars Holiday Special. I don't know. I didn't hate it. I mean, I just don't like that. And I think it's that universe is done, and we're not going to see that again.
That sound that you make when you object to something and you don't like being negative. It's this little thing you do with your voice. It's a little noise.
Okay, you can pick it up.
Yeah, where you're like, oh.
It was a flawed movie, but I got to see the wonderful gadgets and toys again, and it's got the nostalgia factor. If it didn't have that, if it didn't have that, it would have been a total disaster. And Miller is just totally miscast, and it's probably more the writing too, the way they write him. And then he's an idiot in the beginning. Then for like 10 minutes of the movie, he's actually acting like an adult, talking to his younger self, who's a complete idiot. So that those parts I really, really dislike. But I liked the rescue of Supergirl. I thought that was really, some of those action pieces were well done, and the CGI didn't come across as being as horrible as I thought in some places. And you got Nick Cage as Superman. How cool was that?
He was stupid.
I know.
And all the other, it was the only one of those cameos where somebody was actually doing something. There's only ridiculous geeks will even know what it means.
Well,
that's what Clubby was saying. He's like, no one's even gonna understand.
Nobody knows what that is.
This movie is made for normies, and they put in like super geek Easter eggs, and so it's gonna go right over the normies' heads.
Was that from the Kevin Smith script? That scene?
It was that stupid spider because John Peters. Right? Remember, he called Kevin Smith over to his house and said he wants you to help. He wants you to write the script, but I want you to put this scene where he fights a stupid giant spider. And there were like other scripts circulating in Hollywood, all with the hey Smilex, hello there, with the giant spider in it. So
that's what that was from. I thought, yeah.
And Smilex wants to start the whole show.
Of course, we're starting right now. So look, that was funny. I'll give him that. But all the other ones that were just standing there, I don't know why George Reeves lives in a black and white universe. Only the first 2 seasons of his show were black and white.
He was colorized at one point. Yeah.
I mean, it was just, what the hell? I mean, that means the whole universe is just TV shows, and they're all just standing there looking. They don't do anything except Nicolas Cage. And I guarantee you, most people are going to walk out going, "Was that Nicolas Cage? That's pretty funny." When did he play Superman?
I have no idea.
They'll go home and Google it. When did Nicolas Cage play Superman?
Yeah. Well, he did on YouTube.
Did you go? Okay, you heard it here, folks. That is Clobby's normie voice. You all always compliment me on my normie girl. You've just heard normie dude from Clobby.
I didn't know Nicolas Cage plays Superman. It was just. I mean, by the way, it's a funny joke. It was actually. I'm gonna give him credit for something.
Funny. I thought
that was funny. It was legitimately, but it's funny to 20 freaking people who follow that shit and who saw the documentary about it.
Yeah, but it's a fun. That I don't mind.
I'm fine with it.
Joke. Yeah,
but if they want to put that kind of energy into something funny, how about put some thought into your script? Because by the time the second half of the movie rolls around, it's just monotonous. I don't care about Zod. I saw him 10 years ago. I didn't care about him then. He's a garbage, nothing character. It's just a bunch of flat, dumb, worthless, lifeless action that means nothing. The movie's just is a tale told and written by and directed by an idiot, filled with sound and fury, symbolizing nothing. Okay? Yeah, signifying nothing. That's what it is.
Well, the resolution was it didn't make sense without knowing who the villain was who killed his mom. Now they're turning him into Batman in this. It's just a random person. So the whole point of Flashpoint was that it was the Reverse Flash who's trying to ruin Barry's. Ruin Barry's past. I'm gonna start calling it Fleshpoint. I'm gonna get in trouble with my wife. I'm gonna be like, the movie was a take on Fleshpoint. She's like, where did you go see with your? She'd be like, where did you go see with your friend last night? You told me you were going to see the Flash, not Fleshpoint.
Fleshpoint.
Yeah, Fleshpoint. Okay,
not Fleshpoint. That's a that's a Pornhub.
I did have my ears cleaned today at the doctor, but yeah.
Oh, you have your ears cleaned? Are we supposed to do that? No one ever told me.
Yeah,
I can't hear anymore.
Ezra Goldstein, I love King Lear. It's one of my top Shakespearean plays. I love King Lear. I love Cordelia.
I like Norman Lear, even though he's an idiot. No, I'm just
kidding. Yeah, a brilliant idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, he is pretty cool though. He's
pretty so what are most people are not liking this movie? I'm guessing then that reviewed it.
I don't know. I mean, it was kind of. I've seen way worse. It was kind of lame. Really, it's more than anything else. It's kind of lame. Now again, if Tom was right, that is horrific. I just don't. There's no
way.
Why would he go kill his mother? That was the problem. That was what started all the trouble.
No, that's.
However, on Tom's part, I'll give him credit because it's funny to come up with that. Because everyone was like, "What the hell?"
Well, I wish I would have known that this conversation would have happened because we've been friends with Tom for a long time, so we could have brought him on and tortured him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about it. No one. He might be the only one out there that thought of it. Let's give him some credit for being the only one.
Well, I saw you guys were on, but I was going to see the movie. It said spoiler alert, so I didn't click on the stream to watch it.
Spoiler the hell out of it.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't mind spoilers that much, but if I'm about to go see a movie, I'd rather not, see all the spoilers.
Hey, Smilex, are you a Blackadder fan? I noticed you put the Scottish play. Yes, that's Macbeth, isn't it? Ah! No, sorry. One of my greatest. Macbeth. No one else would be able to speak. No. Whoa. 6. I see what you're saying there. I see what you did there. All right. Well, now we're going to run on you folks, but unless you got anything. No, Mark, I wasn't fair to you. So if you have anything to say.
Well, I mean, I didn't hate the movie. It's not a well thought out movie, but some of the action scenes I liked. I like Sasha Calle as an alternate version of Supergirl. I didn't think she was that bad. She doesn't have much of a role in the movie, and I thought some of the member berries were fun but kind of crazy. But I got my free popcorn because I had all my points saved up, so I had popcorn.
Why are you talking about popcorn at 11:30 at night?
Well, I went at 10.
What is your problem? Even?
I had popcorn, but
are you hungry?
No, I want popcorn.
Yeah, because I save all my points.
Mark.
Damn it, Mark.
What's your rating?
I give it a
rating from you.
60 rating. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I give it like a C.
Wow. I give it a 3.
That's a C. You give it a 3, yeah. But maybe I'll hate it in the morning. But no, there's a lot of flaws in the movie. But I had a good time tonight.
I think 6 gave it a 4 or 5, right? 6. So, yeah.
Oh wow!
But at least my friends, if I take them to see, what would they think is worse, Green Lantern or this movie? I don't know. What I got.
Green Lantern's still worse.
So
Kate, I also love my local Shakespeare festival. I go every year. I have gone every year for more than, I don't even know, 25 years. It actually may be 30 years now. I also love the Shakespeare festival. It's great.
7 out of 10.
Wasn't that 70%?
Isn't a C. Isn't a C.
Here we go. 70%.
Here we go with the math. About a
no
4.5 for 6.
No, 7 out of 10 isn't a C.
That's 70%. If you get a 70 on a test, that's a C.
Math. I'm about
C minus
right now.
I guess a C minus.
70% in GPA.
Oh, if you start math, and I'm going to fire everybody right here.
Hold on.
I give Love and Thunder a 3. I hated
Blunder.
Love and Thunder. Love and Blunder. I would give that a 3 or 2.
I gave that a 0.
Oh my God, it is in the United States.
Yeah.
A 70 to a 74 is a C+.
It's a C. Yeah. How do you guys do it up? You have metric grading up there? Metric beers, metric grading?
Everyone has a different GPA rating, and the reason being is they're trying to they're trying to slow down the demand of students who pay for their parchments to automatically gain an A. So they've been moving the numbers around over the last few years to alter the GPA and to make sure that students aren't just demanding an A. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So I thought, Eric is 80 and 90. 90's an A, 80's a B, 70's a C, 60's a D. Yeah. So. Yeah.
No. The only thing I know for sure is
everything that guy just says bullshit. Thank you.
Agonizer, please.
I could do this all night. Yeah, this is fun to get in there. I'm glad you guys are still going. I got to say hi to everyone. Yeah,
I'm glad we got to see you. I'm glad you came in at least. All right, everybody. If any more math, and I will destroy you. That goes for panelists and people in the chat. I will destroy you all. Love you all.
How did Straker make out? Good night.
Dead. We killed him.
You killed him. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a rating for that too.
I don't made the joke. If they kill Straker, I'm not watching the show anymore.
Exactly.
I was 6 months to go live.
You would go live to talk about the movie when you got.
I was going to.
Yeah, go for it. Man. It's late.
We can go for.
I'll go with you if you want.
You go. Okay. Yeah, we can talk.
I can't believe it's your birthday on Saturday, old man.
Yeah.
Say it's your
Can't
birthday.
drive 55.
I hate math too. Math sucks. That just doesn't add up. So, all right, everybody. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful weekend and join us. Well, everywhere, including Mark's channel if he's doing something later.
Yeah, we'll post it. Yeah, maybe we'll go random live stream.
As obnoxious to him as I am here. So good night, everybody. Hey, Six, you think Tom's awake? We should come over and let us take him to the woodshed for that crazy theory.
Go get Tom!
Yeah, okay.
Everything that guy just says bullshit. Thank you.
I just love clobbering time.